It's time for Big 12 football in prime time on FS1. Two teams at a major crossroads with a little over a month to go in the regular season. West Virginia faces Arizona. As we welcome you into the broadcast, the two-time Pro Bowl running back, Robert Smith. I'm Alex Faust. A lot of optimism for these two teams coming into the season, and yet they both cratered recently. Arizona's lost 3 in a row. West Virginia's lost back-to-back. It's a major opportunity to get back on track.
Yeah, it certainly is. And if you listen to either of these coaches, they understand. Fan bases don't care, right? They're not very patient or rational. But when you look at this Arizona team, Noah Fifita has just got to do a better job protecting the football. You know, he's got 9 touchdowns on the year, but he's got 10 interceptions, and he is very dangerous with his legs. He kind of looks like that quarterback that runs up for that Arizona Cardinal team a little bit north of here, right? He can certainly run off and do some damage, but he's got to take better care of the ball.
Meanwhile, for West Virginia, I know we're going to talk about the quarterback situation in just a moment. They had their season kind of laid out for them perfectly. 2 games at home, a chance to jump into the Big 12 title race. They lost both. They were flat in both. They need this one today.
They certainly do. And you look at the combined winning total of their opponents this year, 25 wins, only 1 loss of the teams that they've lost to this year. But again, fan bases don't care. Garrett Green injured at the quarterback spot. Nico Marchiol is going to get the start this week. And, of course, he played in the second half a week ago against BYU. Just not good enough, and he knows it. Got to see what he's able to do on the road today.
Frustration from both fan bases, both in Tucson and in Morgantown. Hey, the postseason might be slipping away if either one of these teams can't get back on track here. The first ever meeting between West Virginia and Arizona is next. Let's take a look at the weather. Yeah, it's a hot one. 98 at kickoff. Though it'll cool down nicely once the sun sets in about an hour and a half. Time for today's Stay in the Game, sponsored by Hampton by Hilton. Hilton for the stay. What do you have, Rob?
Yeah, well, if you're West Virginia and you're going after Noah Fifita, very talented quarterback, mobile quarterback, have to be disciplined in your defensive attack. Got to be smart because he can do a lot of damage with his legs. And if you're Arizona, got to finish those drives. So many times this year as they've gotten into opponents' red zones, haven't been able to finish those drives. And Noah Fifita, a big part of those problems with the 10 interceptions.
West Virginia won the toss. They will receive. And we're underway here in Tucson. And we talked about the quarterback situation. Now, injuries are a story for both of these clubs. But at quarterback, Nico Marchiol, admittedly, the head coach for West Virginia, Neil Brown, said he didn't do a great job last week, but he got a good week of prep in. This team needs a turnaround in some way, and Marchiol's going to have to be a big part of that story.
Yeah, and Neil Brown said it, and of course, if you play the game, you know it. It's something different if somebody gets injured and gets replaced, especially at quarterback, versus that quarterback knowing they're going to start the whole week and having to get all those first-team reps.
First play from scrimmage, that's a positive start. And Jaheim White, who was also injured last week, didn't play in the second half, but returns for the Mountaineers. We take a look at their offense. Wyatt Milam banged up on the offensive line. He will not play. The big question was about White's status, and the fact that he is back is a big thing. Here is Marchiol. He talked about it. Not expecting much from his legs here today, but he's going to get a first down for the Mountaineers. Take a look at the Arizona defense coming in. Last 3 games, they've allowed 28, 41, and 34 points. They have been ravaged by injuries to a bunch of starters. 3 captains down for this Arizona team. A lot of new faces on defense. Shovel pass, here's White across the 40-yard line. And the tackle is made by Tay Brown, Will linebacker from Chandler, Arizona.
Yeah, Neil Brown, this West Virginia offense, and offensive coordinator Chad Scott said, Fox, we don't care about your pregame lineups. We're going to go with some tempo here at the beginning.
Marchiol to pass, and he has a man down the sideline, but overthrew Rodney Gallagher. In coverage, you had Genesis Smith for Arizona.
Yeah, and Chad Scott, the offensive coordinator there in West Virginia, he said, Rodney Gallagher, he's a guy, we just have to find a way to get him the football. But He's come out exactly the way he said he was in the meetings. He said we're going to come out with some advantage throws. We want to get Nico comfortable, use his legs a little bit more than Arizona thinks, but you cannot miss those types of shot opportunities if you're Nico Marchiol, because you're not going to get a lot of those shot opportunities, certainly not with an open receiver like you had with Gallagher there.
And we'll see West Virginia vary their tempo to try to get this Arizona defense off balance. Marchiol to pass. On a quick slant, they'll get the first down and more into plus territory. It's Justin Robinson, but there is a flag down at midfield.
Maybe in some sort of motion penalty or legal formation.
Offside. Defense number 11. That penalty is declined. Result of the play is a first down.
Kevin Marr, our referee this evening.
Or it may be on the defense. Yeah, it looked like that one was thrown right before the snap. Right at the ball there is offside. You can see you're going to talk about the lay there. Coach Brennan.
Brent Brennan.
On his neck, he's got the lay. And see that with Dino Babers as well, guys from the island.
Of course, his defensive coordinator, Dwayne Aquina, a Hawaii native.
False start. Offense number 66. 5-yard penalty. First down.
So that'll be on Sullivan Weedman, redshirt sophomore, to back up the Mountaineers. There were a lot of high hopes for Arizona, not just because of what was built previously under Jedd Fisch, but they were able to bring back a whole bunch of their starters. Of course, injuries have played a part in that. They believe the culture of this program will help sustain them through. They just got to fight through what they're dealing with right now.
That's it.
Get back the penalty yardage here as Trey Smith makes the tackle on C.J. Donaldson. Second down and 9.
Yeah, and Trey Smith along that defensive line, man, he's got some twitch to him. You see him coming off that edge, but sticking his nose in there, stop the run as well.
Play action. Marchiol rolls to his left, and nice check down. Traylon Davis makes himself available. Good decision making from Marchiol. Going to be close to the marker, and a 3rd and short, it appears.
Yeah, this was a nice job by Davis. You could see him getting out in front like he was going to be a lead blocker, but you see Marchiol, he just looked so comfortable today. And remember, he got all those first team reps throughout the course of the week, but Chad Scott, the offensive coordinator, this game plan is built around what Marchiol was comfortable with, whereas before it was built around what Garrett Green was more comfortable with. Doesn't mean that there's a huge difference, but he just seems much more calm, much more confident today.
It's be 3rd down and 1. From the 35, high snap, handoff Donaldson, first down across the 30. And he's tackled physically by Javion Celestine, redshirt sophomore.
Donaldson's an interesting story too. You know, he was a wide receiver in high school. You know, he's 240 pounds, came in as a tight end. They said, your best chance going to be play running back. Said, okay, start giving me that rock, and that's what he's doing now. See him, big guy, getting downhill.
Caught a glimpse of Dwayne Aquina, the defensive coordinator, who returns to Arizona. He's been on this staff now for 2 years in his second stint. Motion up front, and they'll whistle this down.
Man, what a pleasure it was talking to Aquina, too. Wow.
Legend, underrated legend in coaching.
Unbelievable. You know, from the
Offside. Defense number 8. Number 8 was in the neutral zone, causing the offense to react. 5-yard penalty.
I don't think folks at home have an idea of how many NFL players Dwayne Aquina has produced over his tenure. National championship defensive coordinator at Texas, multi-time Pac-12 champion at Stanford.
Well, the most fun part for me, though, was him talking about playing quarterback against Warren Moon, because he was there at Washington, got there at the same time. He's like, he saw the other guys throw and said, oh, I got you guys. You saw Warren Moon throw. He's like, ooh, that guy's going to be a problem. I'm not going to be able to just take his job. But he's turned out to be a great defensive coordinator.
On first down, handoff. This will get him across the 20-yard line, but a flag comes in at the end of the play. Tay Brown on the tackle after a gain of 4 for Jaheim White.
Holding. Offense. 10-yard penalty. First down.
That's going to be on Weedman, his second penalty already.
I'm talking more about Aquina here in a minute. This comes in a little bit tight for that handoff. Oh, nice lateral movement there.
He might have had 66. Jaquay Hubbard on the penalty, not 56. So
just a little grab, but Aquina, just love his approach to the game. You talk about him being an absolute legend. And I love the fact he says guys just need to be different once they get between the lines.
Play action, and White on the screen, bowled out of bounds. He'll be second down after a gain of 6.
Well, Chad Scott, again, the offensive coordinator, you know, he talked about having these advantage throws. They're doing that, but look at those numbers for Aquina. And when I said, you know, guys have to be different when they get between the lines, he said, you know, when you're away from the field, I want you holding the door open for your girlfriend. Be a nice guy. You get between those lines, you got to become an animal. And that's the way his defenders play. But he talks about that culture of resilience. You know, the Desert Swarm all the way back in the day with Teddy Bruschi. He was around for the formation of that. Incredible guy.
Like there may have been movement up front, but no flag thrown here. Taitai Uiagalelei makes the tackle for loss, and it's 3rd down and 9.
Well, I think this may be on the road. This may be 4-down territory anyway, but if you're Nico Marchiel, this is where quarterbacks earn their money in the very real sense in the NIL era. You know, you get in the 3rd down, you get into the red zone, end of half, end of game. This is one of those situations. Be calm, rely on training.
Oh, he drew him off. He created the false start with that hard count.
Well, that
Start. You're still 3rd down.
Now, a slight difference sometimes, you know, with Garrett Green being out, you have slight differences in the cadence, but, you know, you go with that silent clap like that, guys just have to sit in there. I can't tell. Was that Yates that got moving first in the middle?
Maybe.
I mean, center can't do it, right? But you got to be smart. What a costly penalty in the red zone.
Boy, a bunch of flags to begin the game. 3rd down and long here. Swing it to the outside. And Justin Robinson made an initial move to get by the first man, but he'll be pushed out at the 25-yard line. Genesis Smith on the play for Arizona, and it's 4th down.
All right, nice tackle there by Genesis Smith. And, you know, in talking to Dwayne Aquina, he said that because of the injuries they've had on the back end, you know, you can't put in all of the defense that you want, but a guy like Genesis Smith, who's normally going to be playing a safety spot in the back, you get him up to the front because those are where the changes are going to have to be made, and they rely on Genesis Smith to be able to handle the larger volume of defense.
Field goal attempt here on the way and good for Michael Hayes, who was one of the top kickers in the Big 12 this year. We'll step aside. West Virginia off and running. FS1 College Football is sponsored by Hampton by Hilton. Hilton for the stay. Did you shoot this on the hike you said you were going to go on earlier today?
I did not.
Oh.
It was unbelievable in the state of Arizona, though. I mean, you know, as you get further north, obviously up near the canyon and Sedona. Sedona's like another planet, man. But even down here, I think, what is it, Sabino Canyon, and just gorgeous down here. And then, you know, they said one of the advantages of being down here in Arizona is that, you know, they're the only game in town here. You know, it's Tucson is a million. There's a million people in this area, and just obviously gorgeous. So, you know, any advantage you can get in recruiting, but ultimately it comes down to the money so many times these days. I know we'll get into that conversation later, and you know, college football's got to look more like NFL, not like baseball, where you don't have the cap, you don't have revenue sharing, because the haves and the have-nots, this thing just isn't sustainable.
So it'll be Arizona ball here. West Virginia overcoming 3 penalties. They converted a couple of 3rd downs to get points. And this will be taken out from the 2 by Jeremiah Patterson. And good starting field position for Arizona, who have lost 3 straight and 4 of 5 entering today. Noah Fifita coming off that terrific freshman campaign, but Decision-making has been a theme, a bit of an inconsistent season. It also didn't help. He was sacked 7 times last week, a little banged up coming into this week, but we expect them to get the ball to Teteroa McMillan quite a bit.
Yeah, Teteroa McMillan. It was so great hearing Dino Babers talking about him. He said, it's Larry Fitzgerald rules, man. He said, if he's single covered, you throw it to him. If he's double covered, wait until he gets open, then you throw it to him. He said, if he's triple covered, take one last look before you throw the ball, see if he uncovered.
So Fifita, last year's Pac-12 Offensive Player of the Year, will hand it off to Quali Conley. Offensive line that does have a little bit of injury trouble, not too bad all things considered, but they've jumbled up the order there from left to right. Conley at running back here. And McMillan, of course, a huge feature of this offense that has struggled to score, just 23 points per game this season. Second to last in the Big 12. Empty backfield on second down. And Fifita to pass, drops back, fires, caught at midfield. It is McMillan. Stop cut, moves back to his left, spin move across the 40. That is the talent and the prowess of Teteroa McMillan, and they're into West Virginia territory.
Yeah, it's such a big target, 6'5", 212 pounds. Watch him on the end cut right here, and West Virginia just not playing tight enough as they said that they needed to with their zone coverage.
Pickup of 28 for McMillan, and here a gain of 3 for Conley on first down.
Yeah, and Jordan Leslie, the defensive coordinator for West Virginia, said, you know, we're not necessarily going to play a lot of man-to-man, but, you know, when you're playing in those zone coverage, you're not playing like a true NFL type match coverage, but when you're playing zone, you got to get your eyes on the quarterback, and you need to sense or feel those wide receivers and squeeze those routes a little tighter.
Another handoff for Conley, who slips the initial tackle of Trey Lathan, still on his feet across the 20, and the ball came out.
Yeah, it came out as soon as he got hit.
Garnett Hollis comes away with it. And what looked like a promising drive for Arizona, they are bit by the turnover bug where they have struggled all year. 16th turnover for the Wildcats this season. And West Virginia comes up with an early takeaway.
Tomorrow, it's a huge day of football on Fox. At 1 Eastern, Jordan Love and the Packers take on the Jaguars. Or at 4, Josh Allen and the Bills face Geno Smith, no relation, and the Seahawks. Check local listings for the game in your area tomorrow, only on Fox.
Which game does Tommy Boy have? The late one, 4 o'clock? Bills Seahawks?
Tommy Boy, that's what you call him?
Yeah, that's not his name. Anyway, Arizona, not good. Yeah, 16 turnovers. That's a lot. West Virginia hasn't been great at takeaways this year. They have a really rough turnover margin. Shovel pass here on first down. Jaheim White rounding the corner, and we'll see how close this is to the marker. But this West Virginia team, I mean, it was kind of a weird first drive anyway. They nearly got to their season average in penalty yards on their first drive, and yet they got 3 out of it. Second down and 1 here. Almost 7 minutes eaten up off the clock on their opening drive to get that field goal.
Switch up the receivers. Rodney Gallagher now moving to the outside. They're going to motion him back into the formation.
Play action from Mark Hill. He'll pass, and it's caught at midfield. Traylon Ray. Considered a game-time decision. He's been banged up a little bit this year. Jack Luttrell on the tackle, but West Virginia into plus territory.
And Dwayne Aquina, the defensive coordinator for Arizona, said these guys, again, because you got some new faces back there, just not quite seeing things the way that they need to. A little bit late reacting to that throw wide open up the seam. But I love the way that Chad Scott, the offensive coordinator for West Virginia, has started here today, getting Nico nice and comfortable early.
Marchiol will keep this. Gain of 1 here. Chase Kennedy, Utah transfer, makes the tackle. But this West Virginia team, this is a glimpse of what they're capable of when they can move the ball. And I think that's where a lot of the fan frustration has come in, is just how flat they looked the last 2 weeks. On second down, Marchiol to pass, launching, sideline. It's incomplete. Intended for Ray. And he had Manny Carnley in coverage.
Now, I'm not sure if Carnley got a hold of his right hand, but it looked like Ray was only able to get his left hand out, extended to try and catch this football. We'll see if he grabs that right arm. I don't know why he only put one hand out there. Come on, man, you don't need to circus sketch there. You get two hands on that one, you might catch it. Marchiol could not have gone out and placed that ball any better. Now, I don't know. It doesn't look, I know that he kind of fell and the shoulder might have been hurt, but that looked like the left shoulder. No reason for him not to get that right hand out there.
5-man rush and a quick hitter with Gallagher across the middle and a first down all the way down to the Arizona 31, 15 yards and another first down.
Just way too much space. And I know that you've got some new faces back there on that defense, and Maldonado hurt, Stukes hurt, of course Manu hurt at the linebacker spot, but you just can't play that soft. And I know maybe they just haven't seen it, right? You hadn't seen it from Garrett Green, kind of hitting the open guy, but certainly Marchiol today, especially on those underneath throws, you play that soft, he's going to make you pay.
One of your top defensive tackles, your top linebacker, your top safety, all out with injury.
False start. Offense number 65. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Already, that is the 4th penalty on West Virginia. 3rd false start.
Boy, I didn't see that one. They called that on Hubbard?
Well, the ref, his mic's been cutting in and out, so I'll try to read lips as best I can. Didn't get that one, though. So on first down, Marchiol, play action, drifting back. It's his check down, and the tight end, Cole Taylor, who's knocked out of bounds near the 20-yard line. That's enough for a first down, though, or at least close to the marker. We'll see. Yeah, they are going to move the chains.
Yeah, and Cole Taylor, 6'5", 255 pounds. Another injury there.
Yeah, Manny Carnley hobbling off.
Boy, that's tough.
And he's emerged as one of the better young pass defenders in the Big 12. So they'll have to tend to him on the Arizona sideline. The last thing they need is another one on the injury list.
Right,
no more than 6 Wildcats, Robert, have started every game for them. And that's both sides of the ball combined.
Yeah, that's brutal. It's one thing, you can talk about next man mentality all you want, but if you don't have a next man up roster, as Arizona certainly with all of the change up that happened with Fish leaving because of the timing of what happened with Nick Saban, made it difficult to get new players in.
Timeout West Virginia. We'll be right back. Well, Neil Brown, the head coach at West Virginia, 6th season now with the Mountaineers, about 500. He's made 3 bowl games. He's won a couple of them, 9 wins last year. They thought this program was going to take a step, but they have not been ranked since 2019. There are only 2 other programs that are power schools that have not been ranked over that span. And here's the thing, 3-17 against ranked opponents. And those last 2 games, it was almost like it was a silver platter for them. Couple games at home, you could get right into the Big 12 title race, and they just fell flat. And that's where the frustration lies for these West Virginia fans.
Yeah, well, I think they would argue with the characterization of a silver platter being Iowa State and Kansas State, 2 of the best teams in the Big 12. Not making excuses for them. I'm just saying it has been a pretty tough schedule and a lot of injuries.
Yep, no doubt. Handoff here, and White will burrow ahead for a couple yards on first down. You're right. I mean, they've got a bye coming up there, but you know they had the toughest schedule in the league according to most metrics. Still, the results are the result.
You're absolutely right, and you're a fan of West Virginia, especially with the comments that he made a couple of weeks ago that rubbed a lot of those fans the wrong way. And, but this is the conversation that happens at so many schools around the country. Whether it's West Virginia or it's, USC, our guy's not winning. Our guy's not winning. We got to find somebody else. Who is that somebody else? At some point, you got to be patient. Maybe give a guy automatically 4 or 5 years, and a lot of it depends on the way that they lose as well.
White with the Mountaineers inside the red zone. A couple extra yards with the second effort there. Tackled at the 15-yard line by Owen Goss. Transfer from Colgate. And West Virginia, at the start of the season, a lot of hype going into the Penn State matchup. Pitt has become a great story out of the ACC, right? I don't think a lot of people expected them to be 7-0, but Iowa State, good team, no doubt. K-State, good team, but gettable, I have a feeling. And that might be the sentiment as well across the Big 12. Avery Johnson, though, he continues to impress week after week. Here's a 3rd down and 3. West Virginia's 3 for 4 on 3rd down to begin the night.
Watch the legs of Marchiol here.
And he tried to step up and couldn't get away. You were right on it, partner. He tried to get away, but Stanley Taful got to him.
Yeah, he's certainly not the runner that Garrett Green is, but there were the opportunities. But Dalton Johnson came up from that safety spot, and this is the way that Dwayne Aquina plays his defense is, he knows with quarterbacks like that, even though they aren't huge runners, kind of seeing what they did earlier in the drives, you can have those guys trigger early, get their eyes in there, even though everybody else is spread out, and be ready for him to take off.
Another drive with glimpses, and they're going to fake the field goal. It'll be taken for a 1st down and a touchdown. Leighton Bechtel, the holder. West Virginia fakes him out for 6. No flags on the play.
How great is that for Leighton Bechtel and his family, right? This is a guy that's already graduated, got his energy land management degree, high school All-American in lacrosse, and he knew he probably knew that the fake was going to be up today. He didn't think fake was going to be the touchdown, though. So wherever his family is, I'm sure they're jumping up and down, and he's about as excited as could be. I wish we had heart monitors on the guys during games. His is about 180 plus.
Hey, we saw a bit of a trick play from Arizona to begin the game last week. They tried the onside kick. How about West Virginia? A fake and a touchdown.
And a nice job handling the snap right there. It's a lovely day.
Oh, what a start for West Virginia.
Fake the field goal to get the touchdown. They're up 10-zip here.
Yeah, and maybe a couple of missed holds on the outside here. You see Cole Taylor coming out, and he's putting a block on Dalton Johnson.
The play right before that, Johnson got to the quarterback, couldn't wrap him up, right?
Yeah, but how about Bechtel right there? He handles a bit of a low snap on the extra point for the touchdown that he scored. He's all excited, telling the stories on the sideline.
Now Arizona, they've only run 4 plays in this first quarter. 31 seconds left in the half. 7 first downs for West Virginia. And Arizona's been punched in the mouth here at home. The Wildcats with their longest losing streak coming in since 2022. A little bit like West Virginia, Arizona coming off a flat game against a big opponent, hosting Colorado, homecoming game, sellout crowd. This is family weekend here in Tucson this weekend, so parents in town. All the hotels and restaurants around Tucson pretty busy. Wildcats begin to the 25. Quick hitter, McMillan spins away from the first tackle. He's just so elusive, and he'll move ahead for 3 or 4.
Yeah, and Tetaroa, T-Mac, 6'5". He's got pretty good lateral movement. And in talking to Dino Babers, he said he's not an elite speed guy, but he goes from 0 to vertical faster than anybody. Knows how to convert into those jump balls.
So that'll take us to the end of the quarter. Tetaroa McMillan, Arizona's first ever AP preseason All-American, but they need more from him. West Virginia out to a 10-0 lead in their first ever trip to Tucson. Coal mining meets copper mining. First ever trip for West Virginia to Tucson.
Mountain Man.
Actually, you know what? I'm mistaken on that. They did play a game here against Missouri, the 1998 Insight Bowl. But this is the furthest west that West Virginia has been in quite some time. Nice run to get some extra yards here on first down for Quali Conley. But West Virginia, they haven't played a game outside the Central or the Eastern time zone since 2008. And an injured Mountaineer here. Double check, that might be Trey Lathan.
I think it's
And
Fagan.
Montez Fagan, you're right. Yeah.
Well, they, of course, with the injuries they've had on the back end with Burks and Carnes.
Yep. Got two starters. One at corner. One at that hybrid spear position.
Yeah, and Fagan's one of those guys too. I mean, he's such a good tackler on the edge, and you don't always see that from cornerbacks, right?
Right.
You don't always see those physical cornerbacks, and he's in a lot of pain there.
Redshirt senior transfer from Charlotte, starting in place of Aiden Garnes at corner here today, and he'll be helped off the field by the West Virginia athletic training staff.
Of course, Neil Brown, talking about the game a week ago against Kansas State, said he had never seen anything like that. You had the 4 starters out from that first half, just so banged up, and we talk about just how different it is now in the era of NIL and the portal, and how these teams, they need a GM, they need pro personnel, they need scouting, recruiting, just all kinds of things. It's tough. Next man up mentality, but you need a next man up kind of roster.
Fifita with time, slings it complete to Jeremiah Patterson for a first down across the 35.
Boy, and what I love from Noah Fifita right here is how poised he stays in the pocket. He's not the biggest guy in the world, but number 5, Sean Martin, is bearing down on him. No pun intended. And he just stays in there, takes the hit, absorbs the hit, and delivers a strike.
Kendrick Risano in the backfield. Oh boy, he got buried across the 40. Pop back up to his feet. And Fagan, who had to sit out for a play, might have just been a cramping issue there with Tyron Bradley. Second out at 7.
Yeah, I think back got tripped up there as he was getting through the line of scrimmage. That can happen sometimes. It's why we do those rope drills, man. You got to pick them up and put them down.
Beg your pardon, it was Anthony Wilson Jr. in on that play with the safeties. Second out. And again, it's Risano. And he's tackled by Reed Carrico.
Well, you talked about the domination really of the clock here and of the plays for West Virginia. Arizona here with an opportunity, 3rd and 7. You see if they can convert. Looks like West Virginia, they're showing man, but they may bail out here.
Empty set. They pick up the blitz. Fifita connects with McMillan across midfield. And to the West Virginia 40, a gain of 19 and a 3rd down conversion, much needed for Arizona.
Boy, what a throw by Noah Fifita here. And you watch the strong release from McMillan, and you see Trotter right there. He's got his eyes on Fifita, and he knows what's coming. But as a quarterback, it's important to know not just the capabilities of your wide receivers, but the limitations of defenders, and he knew he could throw that off of the ear of Trotter. What a great throw.
And off Conley. And he'll pick up 2 on first down. I mean, Fifita and McMillan, it's a story that's been told over and over. They've been friends since the 8th grade, played together at Servite High School in Southern California. And those two were instrumental in keeping some of the key components on defense around for Arizona, and really have been instrumental in selling this program 2 recruits. They are big time bought in, even with the coaching change and Brent Brennan here. They feel strongly about the culture of this team.
Double pass.
Now McMillan thought about
Hold it down.
And he will. We'll see where this was. He was behind the line of scrimmage. Fifita. How about that? The former high school teammates, they know how to find one another on the football field, and they connect for a big play.
The R squared, P squared, O. Run, run option, pass, pass option. This is amazing. I've never seen this where they're setting up for the double pass and things break down, but he just stays calm, knows that Fifita is still out there, and gets the ball to him. That was awesome.
Yeah. Well, you've got one of the top receivers in Arizona history, and now a quarterback who's throwing for plenty of yards, but the roles are reversed. No gain here on first down.
You know, but to your point about this program and what happened with Brent Brennan, we talked about the timing of what happened. Nick Saban, then Kalen DeBoer leaves Washington, then Jed Fish leaves here, and then he comes in, and he wanted some continuity, right? Not just from a player standpoint, but from a coaching standpoint. And because Joanne Aquina had been around here before and was around last year as a consultant, and Dino Babers had been here before, he wanted guys that really understood Arizona and what it took to be a coach here.
Fifita hits McMillan again across the 20. And a stutter step across the 15, close to the marker. And Arizona on their 10th play of the drive, they move the sticks at the first down.
Yeah, Jordan Leslie, the defensive coordinator. Sometimes you're going to live by the sword, die by the sword. You want to try and pressure and get that ball out of Fifita's hands, and they just vacated the middle completely. And that, that's the chess match that you have as a coordinator. And of course, Matt Adkins became the play caller all the way back at the Utah game. He did a nice job anticipating the pressure and having an answer.
Handoff for Risano. Ole Miss transfer, tackled by Josiah Trotter. Second generation player. His dad, a 2-time All-Pro linebacker. Dantes Fagan back in, as you saw there.
Yeah, and Jordan Leslie talked about, as a defense coordinator, Jordan Leslie talked about Josiah Trotter becoming more of a vocal leader, and that's something that we really hadn't necessarily seen from him. But I think with what they faced this season, with all the changes and the injuries and all of the heartbreak and the losses, he knew he needed to step up that way.
Conley got by the initial wave, and he's ripped out of bounds inside the 10. Marked him out at the 7-yard line. A gain of 6. It'll be third down for Arizona, however, and a 3-yard to go here. They've got to get to the 4. Important play on this long drive, controlling possession. They have 2 third down conversions already on this drive. We'll see if they can punch it in or get another conversion.
McMillan by himself.
Fifita goes to him, and he's tackled shy of the goal line, but it'll be a first down and goal for Arizona.
McMillan a little bit slow right there, but I like the play call. You get a little bit of motion to isolate McMillan, and then you bring him on the quick slant, give him all kinds of space. And I love the throw from Noah Fifita with the pressure, changing the arm angle. And like that, I referenced in the open, it kind of looks like Kyler Murray when he takes off sometimes. I love the way defenders talk about it. So it looks like, looks like a little kid that's running away from their parents.
Especially with that,
he's dangerous.
Especially with that hoodie flapping in the wind. Handoff for Conley and a touchdown for Arizona. Seventh touchdown of the season for Quay Conley. And Arizona's on the board.
Well, you have to respect the ability of Noah Fifita to run, so they go with a little zone read right there. Nice job blocking on the interior, and that's exactly what this Arizona team needed. An answer, down 10-0, had not possessed the ball at all, but they finish it, most importantly, with 6 rather than 3.
Fifita was a perfect 5 for 5 on the drive. Extra point is good. Conley with the score. And Arizona with an impressive drive. Wildcats are on the board, 10-7 in Tucson.
Coming up on the State Farm halftime, Oregon tries to avoid the grave as a top-ranked team in the country. Alabama tries not to get spooked against Missouri. And can Vanderbilt put a scare into Texas? Alex and Robert, we promised not to be bare bone at the half. Bro, I told you not to come out here and scare these people. What you doing? What you doing?
Now that has Mark Mason in the graphics department written all over it.
Yeah, we call him Thrill, Mike Thrill a lot of times, and now they got the Mike Kill up in there.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Everybody's decked out for Halloween. Now, because of the way that it's scheduled this year, you get the weekend leading into Halloween week and all the parties going in on campus, I'm sure, next week. Everybody's going to have a fun
Dressing up?
No. I got to work, man.
I dressed up today. They said dress cool because it's going to be hot, so I wore my fanny pack.
I did see that yesterday, yeah, in the meeting, so I wasn't going to call you out on it. Anyway, here's Markiel and the West Virginia offense back to work. Tell you what, both teams, we see why they were highly regarded coming into the season, especially with their offenses, their ability to control clock, move the ball, and maybe a chance over the latter stages of this season to correct some of the ills that have plagued them. Both teams at 3-4. Trying to get back to 500. Movement up front could be a free play. And a screen pass caught by Donaldson as he'll round the corner across the 30-yard line. Pushed out by Genesis Smith.
It's Tay Brown pushed him out of bounds. But, you know, to your point, I mean, get the call from the official
Offside.
here.
It's number 11. 5-yard penalty.
5-yard penalty, and you called it, partner. It was a free play there. But to your point, I mean, Neil Brown talked about it in his press conference this week. They just need to be better in the pass game, offensively and defensively. A lot of throws that they weren't making, they're making today with a much more calm and prepared Nico Markiel.
First down and 5. Donaldson in the backfield. They fake it to him. Markiel gets 1.5 yards. He is stuffed. Stanley Tafuo, USC transfer, the 6th-year senior, 5 seasons in Southern California, comes over here to U of A. Probably didn't want all that Big Ten travel, just Big 12 travel instead. Second down and 4. Handoff. And this will get him about 1 yard shy of the first down with Donaldson again.
Boy, and Donaldson, we talked about him before, came in as a tight end recruit and covers a lot of ground with his lateral movement for a big guy. He just wasn't able to squeeze his way up in there. And we've seen Nico Markiel use his legs a number of times tonight. Here, another opportunity. You get 3rd and short. Try and spread everybody out. Give him an opportunity to convert with his legs.
Arizona D looking for their first stop of the evening.
Zone read to the right.
They hand it off, and the second effort will get Donaldson the first down. Last year, he was the leading rusher for West Virginia, finished top 10 in the conference in rushing yards. His best game of the season this year came in the win over Oklahoma State, I should say, but he's only averaged 2.5 yards per carry since then over the last 2 games. Good start here tonight, though, and he moves the sticks.
And here they're spreading out that Arizona defense again. Playing pretty soft in that zone.
Off the sweep, it's White rounding the corner. First down and more in Arizona territory. Can he be caught? Ooh. He's ripped down inside the 15. Owen Goss finally got to him. What a run to set up West Virginia.
Well, I love the play call. You go into empty and you get Jaheim White in the motion. This is kind of like all the way back to those Pat White and Steve Slaton days for the West Virginia fans. And Clemson fans not happy about those memories from the Orange Bowl that year. Jaheim White shows him the tail lights, but Owen Goss able to keep him from scoring.
55 yards and a first down and goal for West Virginia. Longest play of the season is a run play for West Virginia. Handoff. Woo. And this is blown up in the backfield. Preston Fox is ripped down. Dalton Johnson there for Arizona.
Oh, man, Dwayne Aquina, he talked about this, man. That mentality. He said guys got to come up out of that safety position and make them stops, and that's it. Reminiscent of the Desert Swarm days on the back end. Love that mentality.
Injury for Arizona. We'll step aside. FS1 College Football is sponsored by Hampton by Hilton. Hilton for the stay. Well, of course, the history here at the University of Arizona. John Solomon holding the bear down. That's been their motto for over a century. So after the injury to Taitau Uiagalelei, we're back to action here. Nico Marchiol on a second down and goal after a 55-yard run. Longest scrimmage play of the season for West Virginia. Shovel pass. It's White, stiff arm, but no gain on the play. Might have even been a loss. Let's see where they mark this. Forced out by Dalton Johnson, third down.
Yeah, Dalton Johnson had made that play previously. Coming up out of that safety spot. We haven't heard Hudson Clement. Haven't heard his name called yet tonight. And he's a guy Chad Scott said he can win on that man-to-man coverage. It looks like he's going to be isolated on the right side of the formation here.
Gallagher in motion. Marchiol pumps, rolls, pumps again, and he's knocked down inside the 5. Tacario Davis, who's been dealing with a groin injury the last couple weeks, knocked him down. It's fourth down and goal. What do you do here if you're the Mountaineers with 3.5 to go?
Looks like you go for it. You're coming on the road after disappointment in so many previous games. As we've seen time and time again today, Nico Marchiol, not the runner that Garrett Green is, but you get him on the edge. And the thing that's a little more difficult with the ball being on the left hash and the left-handed quarterback is you got all that space to the right, but you don't necessarily want to roll him to the right. At least it's harder.
So they'll talk things over on the West Virginia sideline. West Virginia, their first 2 drives, a field goal and then the fake field goal for the touchdown. This will be a fourth down and goal, 3 yards to get it with just over 3 minutes left in the half. Keep in mind, Arizona will have the ball to begin the second half. An Arizona defense that has been just ripped apart due to injury. Can they come up with a stop here? Coming off a 27-point loss to Colorado, the largest margin of defeat for an Arizona team on its homecoming day since 2002. A team that came in with such high hopes, even with a coaching change.
Yeah, and you had guys playing on that defense that had never even played games before. No snaps before last week.
Can they come up with the stop? There we go, fourth down and goal.
Called again, Hudson Clement, right side of the line. Good man beater.
Marchiol receives the snap with one hand, fires, end zone, Clement, touchdown! On fourth and goal, West Virginia scores, and the Mountaineers extend the lead.
Well, they're going to start him off on the right side, and he's going to work his way all the way back across the formation. And what you do right there is you get those natural rubs, right? And you could see defense, they were kind of expecting it. Dalton Johnson tried to get his hand in the way Hudson Clement said, I got this one, my man. But a great throw right there from Nico Marchiol. And this is what that West Virginia offense had really been missing. More accurate play out of the quarterback position.
On the first pass play of the drive. And how about that snap, too? Marchiol snaring it with one hand.
And they've had some problems with the snaps in weeks previously. But,
right.
you know, that's just a quarterback that's in control, right? The guy's just completely poised. And I know that Neil Brown didn't want to say it to us, that, hey, we're excited to get on the road. And you hear that in the press conference because of what had happened with some of the comments that he made. But it is better sometimes to get a road trip. Everybody's just thinking about the game.
Well, they've gotten away from the noise, and they have been just fine in the desert heat. How about that from Marchiol to locate Clement? And West Virginia leads by 10 on the road. Eight play, 75-yard drive. Nico Marchiol, former high school wrestler in Arizona. This is a homecoming for him. He's from Chandler, Arizona. Former high school player of the year, getting to return home for the first time as a college player. His dad's in the stands.
How great is that? Yeah, that's my son. That's my guy. Dad, sun's out, guns out. Dad's not messing around, man. He looked like Rocky and over the top, man. He's ready to win a couple arm wrestling matches.
His dad, Ken, played in the NFL a little bit. He's a linebacker. Noah Fifita in Arizona will go back to work here. And let's get a glimpse of what makes him good.
Yeah, and you know, the thing about Noah Fifita, we know about the interceptions, but the thing that I love about him is the way that over the last couple of weeks, he's really gotten more comfortable stepping up into the pocket. Earlier in the season, he would escape or try to escape when things started to get crowded around him. But now he's really starting to feel comfortable staying in that pocket. And as everybody knows in evaluating football, especially with mobile quarterbacks, they try to cage him. They try to keep him in the pocket. It can be a little bit more difficult to see things for a shorter quarterback, but he's doing a nice job standing in there.
And completed at the 30-yard line to the tight end Kean Burnett. We thought would be a game-time decision here today. Josiah Trotter on the tackle here. Fifita, you mentioned he's thrown a bunch of interceptions lately. 6 INTs the last 3 games. His completion percentage is tanked compared to last year. And perhaps it's because no other receiver really other than McMillan has stepped up for Arizona at times. But he is perfect on the day so far. He'll hand it off to Quay Conley. No gain on this play. It'll be 3rd down. Hammond Russell, the nose tackle, making the play defensively for West Virginia.
Yeah, and you're right. I mean, I know that we've seen some catches from McMillan today, but it can be so difficult. And you talk to Jordan Leslie, defensive coordinator for West Virginia, you say you just almost always have to find a way to get another defender to try and cover McMillan.
Timeout on the field as we hit the 2-minute timeout in Tucson. Arizona with the ball, down by 10 here at home, trying to avoid a 4th straight loss. Next week, Robert, your Buckeyes, they survived today against Nebraska.
That means they get to set up this big-time showdown for Big Noon Saturday next week against Penn State. It all starts 10 a.m. Eastern with Big Noon kickoff live from Happy Valley. And then it's Ohio State, Penn State at noon on Fox.
It's going to be an exciting one.
Under 2 minutes to play, first half. Arizona down by 10 at home. Fifita scrambling, stepping up, and he's tackled well shy of the line to gain, and it'll be 4th down with Arizona deep in their own territory here. Let's see if West Virginia burns their final timeout with 1:48 to go in the half, and it appears they have. Just want to clean up something I said earlier. This is the first time West Virginia has played a regular season game outside the Central or Eastern time zone since 2008. They've played bowl games in Phoenix 2015 and 2021. But since meeting Colorado in what was a non-conference game at the time, September 2008, and remember that was just after West Virginia had won the Big East title in the Fiesta Bowl. They have not been out here for a regular season game since And a healthy contingent of West Virginia fans here, even with all the noise swirling around Neil Brown over the last few weeks. Can he and this team rescue their season from the brink? First punt of the game. Michael Salgado Medina, true freshman, won the starting punter job after week 1.
Sounds like an Iron Butterfly song.
I have no idea what that reference means, so I'm just going to move on. Fair catch signal at the 19-yard line. And a little bit of a bump there. That's, oh, come on.
No way.
They're going to, they threw the flag. Yeah.
I saw.
Yeah. I get it. It's letter of the law.
Just got a little too close.
Yep.
When you're back there returning them, though, you like
Yep,
it.
I get it. I get it. Just, you know, I'm knowing I've seen enough football.
They're having the conversation about it here, and it's
right.
Probably, did he get blocked? No. Oh, wait a minute. There is no foul. Yeah, he was so far. Yeah.
Thank you.
You thought it might have been the touch on the way by.
Yes.
I thought that they might have been too close. Yeah.
That's what they said. There's no kick catch interference. There wasn't. We're all good. Let's move on.
We're not going to make any officials comments.
Just give credit to the long snapper, Justin Holloway, for getting all the way down there.
Well, I like it when they have those conferences, though, and they talk through it like, nah, we can't call that.
Figured it out. It's all good. So Marchiol will hand it off here. Gallagher is shoved out of bounds. Gain of 6. Clock stops, a minute 41 to go in the half. And again, Arizona will have it to begin the second half. West Virginia has scored in all 3 of their drives. I tell you what, Nico Marchiol has looked composed, confident, and in control. 9 for 11 on the evening, 95 yards. And the only pass he threw that last drive connected on the touchdown.
Got some space on that right.
And he's going to go to his left. Got a nice block across the 35, and he fumbled the football. Was this possessed in bounds by Owen Goss? That's the question.
No, Owen recovers the ball, but he doesn't recover it in time. He gets it. Once he gets control of the football, he's out of bounds.
There's a fumble forward out of bounds. It will be replaced back to the fumble spot. We're going to wind the clock.
Yeah, that left foot's out of bounds right away.
Maybe
more importantly, that clock winds
right.
If you're Arizona.
Maybe a bit of an ambitious finish to the run there for Marchiol, and a gain of 17.
Someone took one in the nose. Yeah, nice job punching that thing out. Yeah, he never possessed it anyway.
Yeah.
Nice job jumping on it, though. Who was that? Who's that got that pop?
You know, last year Nico Marchiol, when he came in, kind of similar circumstances, because Garrett Green was injured a bit last season, and Marchiol subbed for him off the bench, then had one start. Game against Texas Tech. Went 12 for 21 on the day. Threw for a touchdown, but also threw 2 picks. Let's head to Mike Pereira in Los Angeles. Good to see Mike. I love the 3-piece suit you've got here today. What do you think of this play?
Well, I think that it's a fumble out of bounds as they've called. Look he does have his right toe down when he first gets possession. But this is just like completing a pass. You're going to the ground. So you've got to survive the ground. And what happens when he gets to the ground here, the ball pops out. So they should leave this as ruled, as a forward fumble out of bounds, take the ball back to the spot of the fumble.
And so is that the same timing issue as catching the ball as well, Mike, because he doesn't control the ball? Like, as you said, he gained control and that right foot was down, which I didn't see, but that's not enough at that point because he's going to the ground?
Yeah, that's the key, because he's going to the ground. So we're really not counting steps here. It's just the element of time. Does he have something to do, a second type of act going to the ground? And you can see here, as he heads to the ground, this ball's going to pop out. So to me, if you were looking at him as a catcher of a pass, it's really the same type of thing. So, you know, I think, in my opinion, you would have this as just a straightforward fumble. Don't think it's enough to overturn.
And also, just for clarity here, Mike, while we've got you, in terms of timing, would the clock then wind as soon as the ball's ready for play?
That's correct. Since they have a forward fumble out of bounds, that's correct.
Okay. Appreciate it, Mike, as always. So 1:25 to go in the half. And the timing would be of consequence because Arizona then, if they wish to, would have to burn a timeout, wouldn't have the clock stopped for them. West Virginia up by 10 on the road. This offense for the Mountaineers.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands. The ball will be placed on the 40-yard line, first down. The clock will stand by ready.
They've had success running the ball this year, averaging more than 200 rushing yards per game. 5th in the Big 12, but it's been the arm of Nico Marchiol that's gotten a lot of the work here today as well. 147 rushing yards for West Virginia, 95 passing yards. And the clock winding, a first down for West Virginia. Donaldson tackled in the field of play after a gain of 1, maybe 2. Arizona calls timeout.
Put a few extra whistles, the Mardi Gras whistles again.
I put time back on the clock here. Now for West Virginia, the danger for them, and the reason why we say this is a game of pretty large consequence, they're in danger of their 4th losing season in a 5-year span. And we've already documented their struggles against ranked opposition, but it's not just enough for this team. That the thought was that they were going to take another step here this year and be contenders for a Big 12 title. You cannot let this slip away and lose out on the postseason altogether. A loss here would certainly put them in danger of that. Now their schedule to finish, as tough as it may have been to start, is a little bit more favorable, but they absolutely need this here today, and certainly Neil Brown needs it as well. So this will be a 2nd down and 8 from the 42-yard line. Three-man rush. Marchiol with time. Marchiol, and will hit his running back check down, and Donaldson at the 45. And he Carnley on the tackle, gain of 3, another timeout.
Yeah, Arizona wants to conserve time now. They get a stop here. You have another opportunity to get back and get some more points here.
And again, Arizona will have the ball to begin the 2nd half. Well, as disjointed as it looked early for West Virginia, a nice recovery here, and defensively for Arizona, we documented their struggles and their shorthanded roster. They wanted to simplify things this week. Arizona team, you talk about the postseason, they haven't been to the postseason in back-to-back years since they went to 4 in a row, 2012 to 2015.
Yeah, but I loved when we had a chance to talk to Brennan, just kind of said, you know, we just want tough guys that love football, right? You just can't concern yourself with all that noise. I know everybody says that, but when you have guys, especially when you have some of those guys that are hurt, like Manu and Stooks coaching on the sideline, they can deliver that message firsthand.
And the Wildcats only bring 3, but it's a hurried pass as they got to the quarterback. Tofuo forced the hurried pass from Marchiol, and as a result, it's 4th down.
You got to punt this thing away. You don't want to put them on a short field here.
It's not close. 4th down and 4, and they will bring the punt unit.
Yeah, and the bad thing there, you're West Virginia, you go out of bounds there as well.
Right.
Arizona doesn't need to burn that final timeout.
Right. Stopping the clock with 58 seconds. That's a mistake.
Go for a fake.
Now they'll punt it away. Oliver Straw, deep punt from inside the 7.
Oh,
And a hard hit onto Jeremiah Patterson. Only a 4-yard return after a 47-yard punt. So Arizona with 1 timeout and 49 seconds to work with. Given how much they've been bitten by the turnover bug, do you try to press here?
well, I mean, you don't press, but you try and get some big chunk plays. You know, you see a lot of times what happens early, you know, in the possession. You know, do we have a completion? Do we get a nice gain early? And then as you go on, you get a little bit more aggressive. But, you know, this is one where you tell Noah Fifita, don't take any unnecessary chances throwing into coverage, but you certainly don't just sit back there and wait for halftime.
They'll go empty, and Fifita will pass. And he's looking to take a shot. Instead, hits his check down. And Conley will scurry out of bounds after a gain of 6. Give him 7.
Well, you talk about clear out routes.
Yeah.
Devin Hyatt was about 50 yards downfield on that one.
Fifita's still perfect on the evening.
So they might have been hoping that nobody was going to follow him and just get a free chance, because you don't want to get too risky on throws like that. You wonder, you know, you're almost wasting a route.
Let's see what they do here. Fifita scanning, throwing, nearly picked. Should have been picked. Jaheim Joseph in and out of his hands. It's 3rd down.
He's going to try and fit this ball into McMillan, and Patterson's going to have a chance at it as well. But you're absolutely right. You know, that's why the guys play defense, right? It's Jaheim Joseph. You know, he just gets so excited, like, got to catch it with your hands, man. I got it.
First incompletion of the night for Fifita, who had more receptions, 1, than incompletions up until that point. On 3rd down, swarm, Fifita gets away as he steps up, gets across the 20, and scampers out across the 25 to stop the clock with 28 seconds. Arizona still with 1 timeout. He moves the sticks. It's a 7-yard gain.
Yeah, not bad. You still have an opportunity to get a couple throws, get this thing up there. You know, you got a field goal kicker in Loop that's 3 of 5 from 50 plus.
His career long and season long is 54. Still a long ways to get to field goal range, though. Under half a minute to go in this first half. Fifita rolls to his left and throws it away. 19 seconds left in the half.
Yeah, just unusual route combinations for me, right? Like, I'm not an offensive coordinator, but I tell you, you want to have more underneath options for some catch and run opportunities, you would think, instead of just having 3 or 4 really deep routes in a situation like that. I know that you don't have a lot of time, but you know, defenses are set up to stop those deeper throws, and they're going to allow some of those underneath throws.
Keep in mind, Arizona has changed their play caller. Matt Atkins now. Fifita swings this over the hands of the tight end, Kean Burnett. Clock stops with 14 seconds on the incomplete pass. 3rd down.
Now you don't take any of those wild chances. You know, the odds of converting one of those long throws versus throwing a pick, which he's almost already done on this drive, aren't very good. So don't expect them to be too aggressive here.
And right on cue, they'll hand it off to Conley. And that'll take us to the end of the first half. So West Virginia on 245 yards of offense, including almost 150 on the ground. Out to a 17-7 lead over Arizona as the Mountaineers look to get back to 500. Time for the State Farm Halftime Show. And we'll send you to our Los Angeles studios. Mike Hill and Chris Peterson.
Yeah, West Virginia 30 minutes away from ending that two-game slide, up by 10 over Arizona 17-7. As we welcome you to the State Farm Halftime Show inside our LA studios along with Chris Peterson. I'm Mike Hill. We'll get you back out for the second half momentarily. But for right now, let's get you caught up on other action from around the nation with our State Farm Halftime highlights, starting with Kansas and Kansas State. Big 12 action here, and Sevion Morrison.
The rivalry game, you never know what's going to happen.
Kansas has been a major disappointment this year, but of course, you know, they got a strong ground game here. And Morrison, strong run right there. And Kansas, just 2-5 on the season, on top on the road, 7-0. Number 8, LSU, big game against Alabama next week. They got Texas A&M this week, so that's a big game. Garrett Nussmeier, Mason Taylor.
This is one of the better quarterbacks in the country playing right now. Garrett Nussmeier playing at extremely high level. That's why they're 6-1 right now.
10-7. Oh, Ray Lewis.
Yeah.
Miami Hurricane, baby. The Ray Lewis dance. The U is back for sure, taking on Florida State. Florida State, total meltdown this season. Just 1-6. It's Damian Martinez putting them up 17-7 right now. 25th ranked Vanderbilt has already upset Alabama this season. We'll show you if number 5 Texas was next on the Commodores list down in Nashville. And Oregon took over as the number 1 team in the nation after last weekend, and today, well, they left no doubt. They certainly deserve it. Highlights coming up. Back at the half, Chris Peterson, Mike Hill hanging out with you. Oregon is the 4th team to hold the top spot in the AP poll this season. Today, they put that number 1 ranking on the line against number 20 Illinois. And if you had any doubt that they were the top team in the nation, well, they put away all doubts today. Look at this run by Noah Whittington.
Just ask Noah.
A duck with a truck.
That's what they call running behind your pads.
That's mad running right there. 38-9. Texas coming off that loss against Georgia. Had all they can handle from Vanderbilt. Win yours, though, to Matthew Golden right here, tying the score at 7. Look at that catch.
Very hard to defend that.
Of course, Vanderbilt's ranked, better team, beat Alabama earlier this year, gave Missouri a run for their money. Yours and DeAndre Moore and the fellas, a little bit too much today. They hold on for a 27-24 win.
Really nice how quickly Ewers got that out.
Speaking of Alabama taking on Missouri, Brady Cook came into the game questionable with an ankle injury, left with a hand injury, would not return, and this replacement, Drew Pine, was not effective.
Tell you what, that's a hard environment to get thrown into. Alabama's defense is getting better and better each week.
Yeah, 3 picks of Pine, led to 14 points, and then, speaking of hard run, a mad running, Justice Haynes into the end zone, 35 yards. Alabama rolls 34-0. Number 12 Notre Dame gave Navy a reality check. Riley Leonard coming into his own.
If Riley Leonard can throw a deep ball like that regularly, Notre Dame's going to make some serious noise.
The big issue in this game for Navy, turnovers.
Man.
Came in with 2 all season, gave up 6 today, including 5 fumbles.
Feel
Notre
bad
Dame
for
wins
Navy.
51-14 for Navy's first loss of the season. Texas rebounding. Tough loss, only a 3-point win against Vanderbilt after their tough loss against Georgia last week. Over the last 2 weeks, what do you make of Texas overall moving forward?
I mean, I think Texas is in fine shape. You know, I think everybody we know in college football overreacts when their team hits a little bit of speed bumps. Georgia's a heck of a team. Texas hit that speed bump. Vanderbilt is much improved.
Much.
I mean, so this isn't the old Vanderbilt team. And, you know, everybody wants to make a big deal about this Texas offense, and they are good. They're scoring 39 points a game. They got great quarterbacks. Sark's a great play caller, scoring, like I say, 39 points a game. But the reason I like Texas to make a long run is they play really, really good defense. Yeah. They're the number 1 scoring defense going into this week. Last week against Georgia, they picked off Carson Beck 3 different times. Today, they gave Pavia all he wanted. They picked him off 2 different times. And so you're always going to have a chance. The reason I like this team is because they do have offense. But if they're off, their defense might be able to save them, and vice versa. And so I think this is a really balanced team. Nobody in college football, especially in the SEC, is just going to bulldoze everybody and have a smooth path. But I think they're set up to make a good run.
Well, they say defense travels. They also say defense wins championship. And, Texas has a really strong defense. See if it's good enough to win a championship this season for them. Meanwhile, 13th-ranked Indiana is off to a 7-0 start. But today they took the field out, injured quarterback Curtis Rourke at home against Washington, out with a thumb injury. Didn't matter because Indiana also has a good defense.
I'll tell you what, this Indiana team, I know that they're undefeated. I know they're 8-0. But I still think they might be a little bit underrated. I think they're legit, Mike.
Oh, wow. 8-0. 31-17. D'Angelo Pons with 2 picks on the day. Oklahoma, number 18, Ole Miss. What do you make of Ole Miss overall?
God, I think it's another team that is just laying in the weeds. And if they continue to get better, they could make some noise in this thing as well.
J.J. Pegues right here squeezing in, direct snap. And then the big boy. Well, he's going to celebrate. Okay.
Yeah, finger roll.
Go ahead. George Gervin, like Ole Miss wins 26-14. BYU also a surprise this year, undefeated. Look at that fake field goal.
Kalani Sitake's got these guys playing. He's even got a run-pass option for the kicker. Are you kidding me?
Are you serious? Between the legs? And then you like this Jake Retzloff kid.
I do. This is one. I mean, I think BYU's playing really good defense, but Jake Retzloff has really ignited this team. He can run. He's a really good thrower. I mean, 8-0 BYU. Who saw that coming?
The class of the Big 12 now, 37-24, the final. 4th-ranked Ohio State visits Penn State next week. The Buckeyes get caught in the trap game against Nebraska today in Columbus. Highlights coming up. And Quality Conley for Arizona. Need more of this going in the second half. Arizona down by 10 at the break.
High speed goes zoom, 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 zoom. My feet go boom, boom, boom. Walking away from you.
Welcome back to the State Farm FS1 College Football Halftime Show. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Game 2, the World Series under the way. Yankees and Dodgers. Dodgers won dramatic fashion, grand slam last night. Tommy Edman getting the scoring going in the second inning for the Dodgers here off Carlos Rodon. Solo shot, and L.A. up 1-0. Trying to take a 2-0 series lead. That game over on Fox. Meanwhile, Ohio State is coming off a heartbreaking loss against Oregon today. They look to bounce back against Nebraska in our big noon kickoff game. That was earlier on Fox. We got your highlights for you right here. We got Ohio State down by 3 here before Will Howard finds Quinshon Judkins into the end zone.
Nice throw and kick, but I'll tell you what, Nebraska showed up after getting embarrassed at Indiana.
Ohio State's defense came through when it needed to. Dylan Raiola, the pick right here by Jordan Hancock. Ohio State wins a close one, 21-17. Hey, next week in the Big Noon Kickoff Party continues in Happy Valley. Huge matchup with plenty of Big Ten and playoff implications between 4th-ranked Ohio State and number 3 Penn State. Coverage begins next Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern on Fox. Speaking of Penn State, boy, this is a big thing. Penn State can beat everybody except Ohio State. Trying to beat Wisconsin tonight. Drew Allen, Nicholas Singleton. Oh, yeah, nice catch right there. Usually seeing Nick running the football out of the backfield, but he can do that too. Nittany Lions on top 7-3. Once again, Penn State, they can knock off just about every other team except Michigan and Ohio State. They really have been bad against Ohio State. 1-9 under James Franklin, including losing their last 7 in a row. And look at the points per game they're giving up. But meanwhile, Ryan, they on the other side against top 5 teams, which if Penn State wins will be a top 5 team going into next week. Just 2-6 against those top 5 opponents. So a lot of pressure on both of these teams, but which team has more pressure on it next week?
That's a great question. There's more pressure on both these teams than all the college football needs. It's going to be an awesome game. But if you ask me, I think the time is now for Penn State. If they're ever going to make that move, take that step. Penn State's finally got balance in their offense. They're scoring points. Their defense, they've played good defense for years now. They're playing it again. And Ohio State's showing a little bit of vulnerability. Last week against Oregon, it was the defensive pass rush. This week, it's the offensive line, and now they're going to be down to their 3rd offensive tackle.
Yes.
Abdul Carter and Tom Allen, the defensive coordinator, they got to be licking their chops. Yeah. They're at Penn State. If there's ever a time, it needs to be now. James Franklin finally could get out of the shadow of not being able to beat Ohio State and Michigan. And if you don't do it now, I don't know when that's going to happen.
And they don't have to play Michigan this year. Penn State has a top 10 defense this year, so they're going to be able to get after Ohio State but mentally, how important is it for Penn State, like you said, to finally get over that hump? You don't have Michigan on the schedule, but you got to beat Ohio State. Even if lost, you can still have a chance to go to the college football playoffs, but you want to beat your rival.
I think it's a lot like a few years back when we were talking about Michigan and Jim Harbaugh doing a nice job. He just couldn't get over that Ohio State hump, and everybody's ready to run him out of town. And then he does, and the floodgates just open. It just flipped. And I think the same thing for Penn State. If James Franklin can get this win, Penn State with the resources, the recruits they can get, the level they're playing at, they've been playing good ball, but they just can't, take that step for everybody to go, these guys are legit as anyone in the country. This game can do that for them.
And it's also important for Ohio State and Ryan Day because they did lose last week in Oregon at Autzen. They barely won against Nebraska at home today. And then if you lose or look bad against Penn State, questions start seeping in about this
Like
team.
I said, there's more pressure on these two teams than you and I probably got in the next 5 years together.
We're happy that Big Noon Kickoff will be there bright and early next Saturday for that one. Should be a good one. Meanwhile, West Virginia trying to get it done in the second half. Fake field goal. I've seen a lot of that today.
I think they had a special teams coordinator convention last week, and they're all running the same play.
It worked. 17-7 at the break.
How will Arizona react and respond after a first half that looked like this? Time for our first half check-in, sponsored by Allstate. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Nice improv there, by the way, with the Pearl Jam song.
I read the thing on the bottom there.
245 yards of offense for West Virginia in that first half. Arizona will have the ball to start the second half here. What are you seeing, or what do you need to see from this Wildcats team?
Well, I think they responded well, being down in that first half. And, of course, they had the drive deep in West Virginia territory, and then they had the fumble. West Virginia's done a nice job controlling the ball, but late in that first half, we saw Arizona finally get things moving, mixing in the run and the pass. Noah Fafita using his legs and his arm. So I think they did a pretty good job coming back.
We'll see. Arizona just 7 points last week, tied for the fewest they've scored all season. Only 7 so far tonight. And this gets blown up. Zay Jennings says hello to Jeremiah Patterson.
And Jennings, man, that's one of them adrenaline-type hits. You come out after halftime, you get lathered up at the beginning of the game, you calm down a little bit at halftime, you come out and you make a hit like that, man, and it just gets them juices flowing. You can just see it, man. You just feel them kind of hits. And that really inspires your defense, too, man. They're like, I got to get me some of that.
So the Wildcats will start from their own 12 here. Ball was ready for play, and now it's not. Something with the umpire here that they're having to discuss. All right, now everybody's set. And Noah Fafita and the Wildcat offense will go back to work. A redshirt sophomore with Crowley Conley in the backfield. Fafita to throw, and Chris Hunter reels this in. First touch of the game for Hunter, coming off his first career touchdown last week. The redshirt sophomore in a gain of 6.
And we talked about those injuries for West Virginia. And, of course, Fagan goes down in that first half, and he was in a corner because Garnes was hurt. Looks like he's back in the game, but they're giving a lot of space on the outside. So you're going to kind of give that kind of free access. Matt Adkins making the play calls for Arizona. They're going to take advantage of it.
Fafita in trouble. He is sacked back at the 5-yard line. It's T.J. Jackson on the sack.
Savainai, the right tackle, Gets beat on that one, and Fifita, he's just got to feel that. You got to feel that pressure. You can't have your eyes on the rush, of course, but you just have to know.
Jackson and Fatoma Malba bringing down Fifita. A loss of 12. Handoff, and Conley goes nowhere. Only a gain of 2 and a 3 and out for Arizona to begin the half.
And sacks are just absolute drive killers. You lose that kind of yardage and you can only do so much, especially in a third down situation. And the whole defense is calling out, watch the draw, watch the screen, and you're deep in your own territory. You really have to be careful. And that's why quarterbacks have to know and have to be able to feel that kind of pressure in the pocket.
West Virginia coming off their worst defensive game of the season, even with missing some key players. Just a flat effort overall. They barely get this punt away. Salgado Medina in a short one that skips out of bounds, doesn't even reach midfield. Ty French nearly got to the punter. 36 yards on the punt, and West Virginia will begin in Arizona territory.
And Ty French bringing that pressure off of the edge, and Jordan Leslie, the defensive coordinator for West Virginia, you talk about his versatility using that guy as an edge rusher so many times because of his twitchiness, and you could see that coming to great use in special teams.
Ball at the Arizona 44, and by far the best starting field position for West Virginia tonight. By 31 yards.
You see if Dwayne Aquina, the defensive coordinator, will dial up some pressure on early downs.
And off Gallagher. And that's a good start. Gain of 6 and a nice run on first down. Jack Luttrell on the tackle.
And the reason I say you start to bring a little bit of pressure early in downs, because you want to avoid situations like this. It's just a great opportunity for a play caller. So much freedom because of the down and distance, because of 2nd and 4, because of the field position. You can go heavy play action and take a shot.
On the ground again, this is White. Flag comes in.
Thrown in the area of holding.
10-yard penalty. Repeat, 2nd down.
Well, we had the half to try to sort out the microphone issue, but couldn't get that done, so unfortunately.
I think this is going to be on the left guard, Tomas Rimac, and he just gets the arms right outside of the frame and turns, and then a little bit of an acting job from Kavan Darton. Those defenders.
It's called sales, Robert. He sold it well, right?
Acting.
So that'll back up West Virginia to the 48. On 2nd down, Marchiol to pass, and it's caught underneath by the tight end Cole Taylor. Pickup of 6. And that'll set up 3rd down.
Well, 3rd and manageable now. It'll be a 3rd and 8 situation, and I wouldn't be surprised if they don't necessarily get to the marker here that this might be 4-down territory. You feel good. You can get a few yards on their side of the field, still go for it on 4th down. You don't feel that bad, even if you don't get it.
2-back set with Donaldson and White, but Marchiol will pass. Flag on the play here, could be a free one, and it's Donaldson to scamper out the running back screen, and we'll see here what the penalty is.
Yeah, early in the snap like that, it's going to be offsides. If that's false start, they would have stopped the play.
It'll be the 4th one.
Offside. Defense number 32. 5-yard repeat, 3rd down.
4th offside for Arizona tonight.
Yeah, and we've seen time and time again that clap and cadence. Nico Marchiol has thrown this Wildcat defense off. Now much more manageable 3rd and 3.
3rd accepted penalty on the Wildcats.
Well, Rodney Gallagher's in the game in the slot to the right of Marchiol. He's an alert type player. If you're the Arizona defense, they're bringing him in for a reason.
Another hard count. Markule, option pitch is off the hands of the running back. It's on the deck. And it's out of bounds.
I think Cole Taylor, as he's going to the ground, just kind of clips this thing with his ankle. Fortunately for West Virginia to just kind of knock this thing out of bounds.
That was a live ball for sure, and you're right, Taylor. Didn't draw it up that way, but winds up being a positive play. Oyunglele with the penetration. And it's 4th down, and by hook or by crook.
Decided not to go for it. That's a little bit too long. When that ball doesn't get kicked back, like, you know, you don't have a fumble there, and you're in a 3rd and 3 situation. Just those few extra yards. We talk about just how different these staffs are now between having GMs and personnel guys. Well, they have data guys too, and sometimes there's a green zone for an offensive coordinator. Okay, we're green at 4 or we're green at 5, but we're not green at 7 or 8.
Just reviewing the spot here to see where this ball should be. Where does it go out? Or if this is a forward pass, perhaps.
Well, he kicks it backwards, and I know that you can't kick it forwards. We could bring Mike Pereira in the 3-piece suit to talk about that one.
Yeah, what they're
with that thing going backwards. Sorry, Mike. Go ahead.
No, what they're reviewing here is whether or not the pitch, whether it was forward or backwards. The kick was unintentional, so that is not factored in here. So it's just a matter of judging where the ball left the quarterback's hand and then where it was first touched. It looks to me like it's slightly forward, but then again, the rule is if it's parallel, if you judge this too close and it's parallel is considered backwards. And so that's what they're reviewing in this play.
Gotcha. So it would be at the original spot, so it would be 4th and 3. But what I was saying, Mike, is that correct? Kicking it, if you kick it even unintentionally backwards, the ball is spotted for the offense where it goes out of bounds. Is that correct?
That would be correct. Since if they deem that it's a backward pass, then yes, then it's where the ball goes out of bounds.
Gotcha. Thanks, Mike.
Appreciate it as always.
Fellas.
Enjoy LA.
So, if it's a pass and it's incomplete, it's 4th down and 3.
Yeah, and then you may go for it.
Right. Would you go?
Yes.
Okay.
You know, we just had that conversation.
Right. The green zone.
I don't need my data guy. I don't need the data guy to tell me.
Why don't you go down
3.
there a couple booths down? You could tell
After
them.
further review, it was determined that the pass was incomplete. It'll be 4th down from the 37-yard line.
And again, this is one of those moments of the game, right? West Virginia, they got the touchdown on a 4th down to Clement, make it 17-7. They can absolutely take a stranglehold here. They continue this drive and get points out of it. Already a 10-point margin.
Stranglehold? Come on, man. 10 minutes in the 3rd quarter, there's no such thing as a stranglehold.
The way they're playing?
Yeah, but you see that offense. They're green at 3, obviously.
Yep. You can make this a 24-7 margin after just getting a 3 and out defensively. 4th down and 3.
Got that bunch set to the left where you may try and get some sort of pick, or you have Hudson Clement to the right side. Don't forget about Markule's legs. Everything is available.
Blitz comes. Markule, quick hitter on the slant. He completes it for the 1st down. Justin Robinson's first touch of the game gets him 10 and gets him a 1st down.
Yeah, nice play design there. Offensive coordinator Chad Scott. And get Robinson lined up just a little bit outside of that stack. Give him some room.
Tempo from West Virginia. Donaldson unable to get free from Owen Goss. And he's pushed back for a loss of 1.
It's that swarm mentality on the defense right there. Owen Goss joined by his buddy Dalton Johnson. on the tackle. This is what Dwayne Aquina wants from his defensive players. We talked about those original Desert Swarm defenses and pulling up that video, and he loves to pull up the videos, especially where you have effort-type plays and those secondary players being physical.
Play action. Markiel dancing, tons of time. Rolls to his right with blockers in front of him. And Markiel gets nice positive yardage out of that play to set up third down.
Give Dwayne Aquina, defensive coordinator for Arizona, a little bit more love. You know, so much of being a play caller, offense or defense, is anticipating what type of combination you're going to get from the offense or what kind of coverage you're going to get from the defense. And Markiel there, I think with some of the over routes that they had, they expected to clear out coverage on the backside. Dwayne Aquina had a zone look dialed up, and there were people there waiting for those routes.
Markiel facing a three-man front. Steps up in the pocket, tucks and runs, tripped up across the 20. Will that be enough? Marked down at the 19-yard line, and that was the line to make. It'll be fourth down. 4th and inches. Dalton Johnson on the tackle. Huge moment of the game here for Arizona.
How many times have we called Dalton Johnson's name tonight? Comes up out of the roof from that safety spot. Makes a nice play.
West Virginia already 3 for 3 on 4th down tonight. Low snap. Markiel, hand up. Donaldson will not be caught. Touchdown, West Virginia. On another 4th down conversion. And for the second time tonight, the Mountaineers have scored on a 4th down.
Boy, this one looks just like you draw it up. You go with a different type of counter. You get the 2 tight ends, Traylon Davis and Cole Taylor, leading up. And so many times on those 4th and short situations or short yardage situations, you get everybody stacked up at the line of scrimmage to try and stop that run. You get by that first line of defense, get an opportunity to pop a big one. And that's exactly what C.J. Donaldson was able to do there.
This Arizona defense so undermanned, bending and potentially breaking here. West Virginia has scored on 4 out of their 5 possessions. Extra point is good to balloon the lead to 24-7. The Mountaineers looking to get back to 500.
Eric B. and Rakim. Donaldson got paid in full.
FS1 College Football is sponsored by Hampton by Hilton. Hilton for the stay. Tucson, kind of an underrated gem if you've never been here. It's great.
Awesome city and awesome sight. See Nico Markiel on the sideline. Look at the plug in the nose, like a boxer. It's like Rocky. Cut me, Mick.
I was going to say he looks a little bit like a hockey player, but
yes,
sorry, that's my other job.
There, yeah. But great job by Nico Markiel today. You know, coming on the road and having that full week of preparation, as offensive coordinator Chad Scott talked about, them really getting some plays that he felt comfortable with, and you know, certainly not the runner that Garrett Green is. Certainly been great in the pass game. And not bad with his legs either.
No, not at all. Well, Arizona just
got to answer, man.
You got to answer. It just feels like when bad things have happened, it's snowballed for this team this year. Last 3 possessions, not much happening. Really need points here.
Yeah, and this is something that Coach Brennan talked about with us. Like, if you focus too much on the outcome, the process suffers. Just go out there and play the next play, handle the next series.
There's a 3-possession lead for West Virginia. Fifita locating McMillan. Not hard to find him at 6'5", 212. And his verticality, didn't have to leap that far to make that catch, but reels it in nonetheless for a first down.
Yeah, covered up underneath. Noah Fifita does the right thing and hangs on to the ball a little bit, gets it to his big man McMillan. And we've talked about his height before, and he's certainly not a burner, but I'll tell you, he does an excellent job of dropping his hips so he can get in and out of breaks quickly.
Easy to forget he had a broken foot this spring. Off the sweep, a stutter step, and a physical tackle knocking down Hunter. It's Anthony Wilson.
Yeah, they talk about him being a leader on that defense. Fifth-year senior out of Columbia, South Carolina. And they love that, man. They get that free run to come up and make those hits, and nobody blocks them. That's that +1 defender that isn't accounted for in the run scheme. It's a big hit.
My bad. Fifita facing some pressure, flag thrown in the area of holding, and Fifita takes off, will slide across the 40. Not the worst move considering you get the penalty coming here too. 16 yards.
This might be on Miranda.
10-yard penalty, repeat, second down.
So, no sense in burning your legs here.
Yeah, you're going to see Roberto Miranda on the right side of the line of scrimmage here. Those tight ends, and just gets a hold of that jersey. Easy flag right there. Miranda's from Germany. Aristoff, Deutschland. We get a little German every now and then.
I didn't know that about you. Second down and 16 here. 6.5 to go in the third quarter. And after the penalty, Fifita, as they pick up some of the pressure this time, and again it's McMillan, but he can't hang on.
Just a little bit high on that throw. You're going to see TJ Crandall, on the coverage, gets that hand up there, knocked that thing away, and looked like McMillan just couldn't catch that cleanly. May not have even counted, because I don't know if he was going to be able to keep that right foot in bounds.
Arizona 4 for 7 tonight on third down. Fifita has to get rid of it and does. Crossing pattern to the tight end Burnett. And he'll be ripped down shy of the 40-yard line. Good swarm there from West Virginia. Fagan and Wilson both there, and it's fourth down.
When we talk about holding penalties being drive killers, you know, that -10 during a drive, just so difficult to recover from that. Really a shame for Arizona. It's a nice run by Fifita. That's why you just have to be so careful, and you get those players, especially on the edge, and you just have to train them with guys like that to let go.
I'll tell you what, though, a week after Avery Johnson chewed him up, allowed 298 pass yards to K-State, as Arizona will cut down the return here on the punt. West Virginia's defense certainly looking a lot better this week. And they're up big on the road in Tucson.
Well, how did West Virginia get it done? How about the first time on the fake field goal? Bechtel, the holder, taking it in for the touchdown. And then there was this long run by Jaheim White, setting up the touchdown pass to Hudson Clement. Great throw there from Nico Marchiol. And then it was the fourth down conversion. C.J. Donaldson breaking through the line of scrimmage. Really a great performance by this West Virginia team, coming up on the road after a couple of hard losses at home to dominate so far here in the desert.
It was back-to-back fourth down conversions on that scoring drive. Marchiol will take off. He scampers out of bounds, being forced out by Chase Kennedy. Maybe a gain of 1 here on the play.
He certainly doesn't have the speed of Garrett Green, but his legs are just dangerous enough, and we've seen it both on the edges with a little bit of zone read action. It's definitely enough to keep a defense honest and Dwayne Aquina, defensive coordinator, some headaches. And certainly need to account for it.
Interesting background, too. He was a high school wrestler in addition to being on the football team, and grew up not far from here in Chandler, Arizona. Handoff here for Donaldson, and he's pushed back at the point of attack. Marchiol, as mentioned, his dad played in the NFL, but on that high school wrestling background, you don't see a lot of wrestlers that become quarterbacks. He said that there's nothing that quite tears the body down like wrestling. The practice, the conditioning, the one-on-one nature of the fight, and he felt he loved that aspect of it. He thrived in that kind of environment, even if it's different than 11 on 11 in a sport like this.
Yeah, I think both mentally and physically you have to be tough to be a wrestler, and that's certainly what you want out of your quarterback.
Marchiol nearly picked. That was a dangerous throw, aiming for Cole Taylor, and it falls incomplete. Dalton Johnson.
Now Cole Taylor, we know he's got some pretty good hands, but generally speaking, you want to keep it on the frame of the tight end, or of tight ends when you're throwing the ball. And Dalton Johnson, again, Mr. Everywhere. We've seen him all night long coming up out of that safety spot, making tackles on the edge, making tackles in the middle of the core, and doing a good job in coverage. Ooh,
3 and out forced by the Arizona defense, and you're right, that came off the foot of Oliver Straw. Off the outside of his foot, it looked like a knuckler. And it's ruled out at the 35-yard line. First 3 and out for West Virginia tonight. Tonight's team comparison is sponsored by T-Mobile, America's largest 5G network. How about this comparison in time of possession? And West Virginia just, I mentioned the word stranglehold earlier. Is it starting to feel like that, Robert? Is it feeling like that already?
Patience, my friend. This is college football, remember. Anything can happen, but this is obviously a big drive right here. Got to end this possession with some points, preferably of the 6 with a conversion for 7.
Handoff, first down, good run. Out across midfield, Quali Conley.
Man, Conley's going to get swung down by Bradley at the end of this one. It's like he's a little bit frustrated throwing him down, but he throws him forward for another 3 or 4 yards. Maybe 2 or 3 yards.
18 on the pickup for Conley. And a first down for Arizona. Fifita in trouble. Under duress, throws it away.
Yeah, Josiah Trotter applies the pressure, flushes Fifita out. Weren't able to pick Trotter up. Nowhere to go. Talk about the timing of routes and talk about the way that plays are designed to time up with the drops of quarterbacks, and you're not accounting for an unblocked player coming right through the A-gap and Josiah Trotter. Those routes weren't ready.
On second down, handoff, Conley cut down to the backfield this time. And it was Malba with the penetration.
Boy, Malba, he's just an absolute beast on that defense. Jordan Leslie talked about how he's become more of a vocal leader, an emotional leader on that defense. He's one of those guys, as an offensive player, you get tackled by him a few times, it's like, okay, guys, we got to get him accounted for. He's got really violent, strong hands, but more lateral movement than you would expect from a guy more than 300 pounds.
On third down, Fifita backing way up into his own territory. Finds McMillan downfield. There is a flag. McMillan bails out his quarterback. And we'll check the penalty marker.
And this is why McMillan is so dangerous. And this is something that Dino Baber said to us. He said that McMillan goes from 0 to full vertical faster than any receiver than he's ever seen. And there may have been a hold there defensively on another receiver.
I mean, you just don't find receivers that size.
Pass, holding, defense. That penalty is declined. Result of the play is a first down.
Yeah, it's 6'5" that have a vertical like that.
Right.
But it's not just the fact that it's a vertical, it's just how quickly he transitions. And, you know, again, for a guy that's 6'5", any taller player, generally speaking, you're not going to see as great the lateral movement, but it's that transition, his breaks in and out of his routes. So he does a nice job. You have to drop those hips and really get your weight down to be able to do that. But he also transitions into vertical mode to jump quickly, to elevate. And when he does, I can't even imagine how high on a backboard he's touching.
Blow this play dead. McMillan now up over 100 receiving yards tonight.
First charge timeout. Arizona, 30 seconds.
Okay. So 1:54 left in the quarter. Looks like we'll extend this timeout, and so we'll step aside. If you want an understanding of why Teteroa McMillan's likely to be a first-round draft pick, here's a good look why.
Yeah, we talked about the size at 6'5", and I love the play right there. They go with the double pass and decides not to throw it until late. Late decision on that one. You see the lateral movement for a guy his size so impressive, but just going up and high pointing that football and doesn't even need to high point so many times. He's just so long. But again, better lateral movement than you would expect from a guy his height.
So on first down, they'll hand it off to Conley. McMillan, 11th career 100-yard game. Oh, he hasn't caught a touchdown pass since week 1 against New Mexico. He exploded for 4 touchdowns, 304 receiving yards.
But you see the big contingent.
Yes.
McMillan family members. How great is that, man? Servite, California.
Originally from Hawaii, and here is it, a wide open completion for the touchdown. Sam Olsen, no flags. Much needed score from Arizona as the Wildcats claw some of this deficit back.
Well, we've talked about the secondary and the injuries that you have, and I think they just get the number count wrong here. And you can see Anthony Wilson move to the outside, leaves the middle of the field wide open. And of course, we don't know what the call was, but I'm guessing Wilson got his eyes to the outside towards the #1 receiver when he's got to have his eyes on the seam.
Missed the extra point, though. Hooked left by Tyler Loop.
And we'll take another look at this pass. And you know, Jordan Leslie, the defensive coordinator, said we need to over-communicate, and here communication mix-up. And I think because that route on the outside, on the left side, runs free up the sideline, it spooks Anthony Wilson into thinking that he's supposed to cover out there as well. But anytime you have a route like that in the middle of the field, when you get a vertical route out of that position, safety almost is always the person that's supposed to have that.
Looked like a bad snap, bad hold, and as a result, the kick got hooked by Tyler Loop. That's the first missed extra point in Tyler Loop's career. It was a perfect 118 for 118 entering the day. I'll tell you what, though, Arizona, 3 big plays on the drive. Conley the run, McMillan 23 yards on 3rd and 11, then a 23-yard touchdown after that.
And tomorrow, it's a huge day of football on Fox. At 1 Eastern, Jordan Love and the Packers take on the Jaguars. Or at 4, Josh Allen and the Bills face Geno Smith, no relation, and the Seahawks. Check local listings for the game in your area. Tomorrow, only on Fox.
24-13, West Virginia here in Tucson. Nico Marchiol, it's stymied since an explosive start, an explosive first drive that was actually kind of hindered by all the penalties West Virginia took.
Yeah, Mr. Stranglehold, what are you going to say now? 9 points.
That's why I posed the rhetorical
points.
question to you. You're the analyst. Yeah. Marchiol is sacked. And finally, Arizona's defense comes up with a big play. Chase Kennedy.
You're going to see that pressure very quickly arriving. He just breaks free from that edge. Does the little dance. That's just defeating blocks, right?
4 straight weeks now with a tackle for loss for Kennedy. Might give a half sack to Tai Uiagalelei.
He's out of Dallas.
Loss of 6, second down. Handoff, Gallagher, stutter step, cuts it back, makes another cut, but is stopped at the 25-yard line, and it's 3rd down and long here for West Virginia as the clock ticks down towards the end of the quarter.
And Dwayne Aquina, the defensive coordinator, here's that opportunity. Now, you get a 3rd and long. Maybe you were going to go a little bit conservative here if you're West Virginia, but if I'm a Dwayne Aquina, I'm going to give a little bit of pressure here, light him up, maybe force him into a bad throw, but probably not in this quarter.
That will take us to the end of the quarter. Stranglehold no more. Potential for Arizona to force another 3 and out defensively. West Virginia's lead down to 10. Could be setting up for a fun 4th quarter here in the desert. Come on back on FS1. Well, Arizona with some life here in this game. 24-13. Missed extra point, keep in mind, for Arizona. So it's an 11-point margin instead of 10. Tetero and McMillan. How about this?
Well, I just love to see it, man. And watch Hudson Clement. Got a lot of space. Anytime you're going to bring pressure, you need to leave somebody on an island.
3rd down and 9. Can Arizona's defense step up here once again against Marchiol? The pass caught across the 40-yard line. That's a big one. Hudson Clement on the conversion, and West Virginia moves the sticks.
Perfect touch on this throw is what got it done. And Jack Luttrell just not able to elevate to knock that ball away. What a throw by Nico Marchiol.
Into a tight window, too, for Clement, who had the catch at the back of the end zone for a West Virginia touchdown earlier. Here he converts on a 3rd and long. And across the 45, it's White to pick up 3. Again, White, who's been battling injury, left after the first half last week. That's why Marchiol's in a quarterback as well. Injury to the #1 quarterback in Garrett Green. There was some speculation as to whether Green was pulled due to performance last week, throwing 2 picks in the first half, but he left due to injury. He's unavailable this week.
Yeah, as much as he runs, he really exposes himself to some hits.
Yeah.
You can see him hobbling after a few of those runs.
Marchiol with time, takes a shot downfield. It's caught by Ray, staying on his feet. It's a touchdown for West Virginia. 54 yards for the Mountaineers and a huge response.
This is a long route that requires excellent protection, and that's exactly what West Virginia got on this one. You see Marchiol had plenty of time, but I love the way that he climbed in the pocket just to give himself a little bit more time. And then you could see Jack Luttrell, who missed that 4th down pass just a couple of plays earlier, and he's not able to stop that throw. You see them all fired up on the sideline. That's a way to go on the road and do it, though, man. Always love road trips.
Especially after Arizona injected a little bit of doubt into the outcome. But the West Virginia offense responds in kind. 54 yards to Traylon Ray. And West Virginia reestablishes a 3-possession margin. Nico Marchiol fired up, and why not?
You got to love college football, man. At the way that this team has struggled this year, and I know that Arizona's been through their trials as well, but the opportunities at home the last 2 weeks for the Mountaineers. We talked about with Iowa State and Kansas State. And there's Marchiol's papa, proud papa. Love it, man. Short trip for him to come see his son play. He's from Chandler, Arizona, a couple hours up the road near Phoenix.
Short kickoff. And they'll take the option for the touchback on a fair catch. Season-long run we saw earlier. And now a season-long pass play for West Virginia, 54 yards on the touchdown. And what life there was momentarily for Arizona. Boy, that is a gut punch.
Next play, man. No quitting this team. Just go out and try and have another drive that just creates some points, right? That's all you can do. Go out and play your play. Do your 111th. I know it sounds like coach speak, but what else are you going to do?
It does sound like coach speak, sorry. Whoa, Fifita nearly threw that one away. Fagan got his hands on it.
Boy, and we saw Fagan go down with an injury earlier in the game, and he's playing little trap cornerback there. And Fifita is not expecting him to be sitting there. Thought the route was going to take him off, and it's a nice job by Jordan Leslie, the defensive coordinator, changing things up. You expect that corner to be vacated. Had a chance to pick it.
Keep it on the ground with Conley, and the umpire got in the way, impeding his run just a bit, and it still will be a first down.
They did a little bump. The umpire did the little back bump with him. Hopefully we'll get a replay shot of that. Tell you what, the ump passed that test with flying colors, though, no pun intended.
Fifita throws, tight window, and McMillan unable to come away with it. Guarded tightly by Garnett Hollis. Great coverage from the West Virginia corner.
Yeah, he may have come down on McMillan's foot, but you called it, partner. Garnett Hollis, nice job breaking on that one. He turns. When McMillan turns, you just get their feet caught up a little bit. But Hollis, he's got great body control. I've seen that from him, and does a nice job not interfering with McMillan on that one, getting around the body, but getting his hands up to knock that thing away.
Fifita to pass, steps up in the pocket, and hits his target underneath the tight end, Sam Olsen. Now that'll set up a third and short. Coming into the day, McMillan only 116 yards shy of 3,000 for his career. We'll see if he can get to that mark. Third down and one. Yeah, this play is blown up. Conley is met immediately by Tyron Bradley, the senior from Lubbock, Texas. Last week, he snapped a streak of 5 straight games with a tackle for loss. And he'll get one here with an injury to T.J. Jackson on the play, the Troy transfer, who's been dealing with an injury of his own.
Yeah, he's been banged up the last couple of weeks. It's good to see him out there again today. But, you know, he's just one of those guys, and Jordan Leslie talked about, he's just a warrior, man. You know, at this time of year, most players have some bumps and bruises, but T.J. Jackson, you can see him patting the trainers on his shoulder. He's like, that's right, I don't even need any help. Let me just get myself up off the turf. Love to see that.
Obviously 4-down territory here for Arizona. 4th down and 2. McMillan, we did see him hobbling just a little bit. Awkward step in tight coverage, but he's got the helmet back on. Coming into the day, he was 6th in the nation in receiving yards, leading the Big 12.
It just looks so effortless with him too, right? I mean, you see that a lot with taller guys, but he just moves differently.
Sweep action, and it's Chris Hunter to convert on 4th down. Tackle made by Dantes Fagan. Gain of 7, and Arizona moves the sticks into plus territory.
Yeah, Sam Olsen, the tight end, had a block on the outside there, and if you're a West Virginia fan watching the replay at some point, or if you caught it live, you might have thought that was a hold, but got away with it. First down, Arizona.
Fifita goes across the field to locate Conley. And he'll fight through that initial tackle. KK Tarnu got to him.
Boy, I love this finish from Conley. One of those guys that stuck around in this offense, and they had Coleman and crew that took off for Washington. He stuck around. Nice body lean to get a couple extra yards.
Blow this play dead here.
False start. Offense, number 11. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
Called on the quarterback, Fifita.
He was calling for that snap a little bit early. May have jumped back.
Tarnu in trouble. And he'll be helped off. Transfer from Jacksonville State. He played under former West Virginia coach Rich Rodriguez there. Sorry, former Arizona coach Rich Rodriguez.
Yeah, I was. You had me there for a second.
Like, wait a minute. Came out of my mouth, and I'm like, nope. Try again.
Michigan and West Virginia. Ooh.
Fifita stays on his feet, off his back foot, throws it away. Third down.
So we talked earlier about Fifita and what he's done to step up into the pocket, make some of those throws right there, kind of reverting to what the Wildcat fans were a little bit more nervous about, and probably led to the 10 interceptions coming into the game, just giving way too much ground when he feels that pressure. Normally quarterbacks are going to try and escape one way or the other, but he just goes straight back and just throws an air ball.
Fifita, sidearm delivery, hits his target along the near side, but the West Virginia defense is there. That's Fagan. Remember, he got banged up earlier in the game. Looks just fine now. Risano is forced out.
Yeah, and Zay Jennings came over there, the true freshman from Cincinnati. Had that first shot at it. But you're right, Fagan, man. He was down, banged up a little bit earlier, and this West Virginia defense, all about that tough, bringing that hat. First play, 80th play.
This is caught for a first down. McMillan, who is now up over 3,000 yards for his career.
Boy, this is the high fastball from Noah Fifita, and he does a great job. Climbs into the pocket just enough and delivers an absolute strike to Noah Fifita. And love the timing on that when he had that ball on its way as soon as McMillan was making his break.
11th play of the drive. And Fifita with a lot of time, but he's running out of it. And he is sacked by Hammond Russell.
Nice job with the coverage on the back end. And Fifita's, you got to have that clock in your head. You're a quarterback, especially if you're stepping up into the pocket. You know there are going to be some bodies there, and there's going to be some leakage from the backside, and they're able to get him down.
No, no.
The screen.
Fifita just throws this into the feet of his receiver in Patterson, just to throw it away. Third down.
You can hear everybody saying screen on that one. They had that one sniffed out pretty quickly, and that down in distance, you get 2nd and 15, now 3rd and 15. Watch the screen, watch the draw. You know you're in 4 down territory. You're going to be going for it, so don't get too greedy here. You know the defense more than likely going to be playing back just a little bit, giving up those underneath throws, try and get a run and catch, something manageable for a 4th down.
You pick up the blitz. Fifita launches to the end zone. Wow. Defender fell down, and McMillan has the touchdown. His first since week 1.
Yeah, you're right, partner. It's Lathan. It's going to be in the coverage there, the linebacker. No chance.
Was he helped?
He was trying to change direction. I think McMillan just kind of put a move on him. And, you know, Lathan's 6'1", 226 pounds, and he's not built really to cover a guy like McMillan. And he tries to backpedal just a little bit, gets his feet caught.
Go for 2 here, trying to make this a 10-point game. Arizona 0 for 2 on the season. Fifita rolling, throwing, back of the end zone, incomplete, knocked down by Anthony Wilson. But some late life for Arizona. There is a flag. Let's see if this will give them another shot here.
Some lingering conversation here. Let's take a look.
There is no foul for illegal touching. He never came back into play.
Okay.
The try is no good.
So that clears up that. And it's a 12-point margin. Arizona hanging on by a thread. They need a defensive stop. McMillan in the end zone. The Wildcats within a dozen.
Well, here we go. We're going to take a look at this Arizona defense and what's going to happen here. West Virginia is going to be playing Tampa 2, and because that route ends up taking the safety, the first vertical route takes the safety. Middle linebacker who runs to the middle of the field on a Tampa 2 is Lathan. He's going to be matched up against McMillan, and of course, falling doesn't help. But a nice job play design, getting 2 up to the second level, 2 vertical routes to put that safety in conflict and have a bad matchup left over.
I'll give you full credit, Robert. This Arizona team is refusing to go away. Seriously, I mean,
well, they should.
But you think about all that they've been through, right? And how
awesome.
Things look, and you know how much of a gut punch that big 54-yard passing touchdown was for West Virginia. You get a stop here. All of a sudden, things become interesting. Under 9 minutes to play, plenty of time. Rounding the corner here is White. And White should have a first down here, but there is a flag. See if this is a hold.
Holding. Offense number 87. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
And indeed, it is a hold. On the tight end, Cole Taylor.
You get that little jet sweep action. We saw a big play earlier in the game from Jaheim White on this one, and here you can see those arms get outside of the frame. A little bit of a ticky-tack call right there. But just don't leave any doubt. If you're Cole Taylor, you got to keep those hands inside. So when you do hold, the refs just don't see it.
This is a team. This is a team, West Virginia, Robert, that does not take a lot of penalties, averaging 32 penalty yards per game. That's the 5th fewest in the nation. That's the 3rd offensive hold on West Virginia here tonight. And it really throws a wrench into this drive now. It'll be a 2nd down and long. Uiagalelei coming up with a stop here. 2nd down and 16.
Yeah, and I mean, how many times have we said that tonight? Just how holding penalties can just be absolute drive killers. Backed up situation right here, and you just don't want to get too risky. And I guarantee you, watch the screen, watch the draw. Now, we know they're a little bit thin defensively in that secondary for Arizona, so they're probably not going to play too tight. So you may have some underneath throws, but got to be careful with anything downfield.
High snap, Marchiol turns, fires, and hits his target in Gallagher. But he is going to be swarmed and taken down. Defense was all over that. Uiagalelei and Tafuo there for Arizona, and it's 3rd down.
Yeah, they're going to try and go with the advantage throw, the quick throw to the outside, but Arizona was ready for this one. And how many times have the West Virginia fans seen those bad snaps here in the last few weeks, and it costs them again? Now, even if that ball's out there a little bit earlier, because I believe Arizona, and what would you expect? Dwayne Aquina, such a great defensive coordinator. He has those guys ready for that. Knows that they're going to try and get a quick throw and run after catch. Have those guys ready to rally and make the tackle.
Delayed handoff. Reed. So White will get to the 25-yard line. It'll be 4th down. And West Virginia will have to punt. And Arizona will get the ball here with about 6 minutes to go. Needing 2 scores. Anakina, who's had a tough situation thrown at him, but one of the best in the business, 43+ years coaching experience, rejoining this program last year as a consultant and promoted to defensive coordinator.
He's just great. And guys that have been coached by him, they wear it as a badge of honor.
He has a reputation of putting guys in the NFL for sure. Nearly, well, that was nearly muffed. I thought he may have touched that. Jeremiah Patterson.
Yeah, he had one of his guys that was down there, almost hit him.
Yeah. All right, we'll see what happens. 6 minutes to go. Is there time for Arizona? FS1 College Football is sponsored by Hampton by Hilton. Hilton for the stay. Alex Faust, Robert Smith here with you in Arizona.
Boy, just nothing like the night sky in Arizona. When you get away from the cities down here, man, just incredible.
Last 2 possessions for Arizona, touchdown drives of 65 and 75 yards. A lot of people have headed for the exits here on family weekend. West Virginia, you know, keep talking about, hey, Arizona's hanging around. West Virginia has been in control for most of this game, but what can Arizona do here if they want to come back in this? This is a good start. Out across the 45-yard line, it's Hunter.
Woo! Get the tunnel screen. Savainaya on the outside. Another lineman leading up. Those DBs hate seeing that, man. Those big guys running free.
Fafita taking a shot. McMillan got it inside the 10. Arizona is roaring back. It's 1st down and goal.
Oh, and they run Tampa 2 again, and it's going to be Lathan who got beat on the touchdown. That's going to be in coverage, and he gets turned around. McMillan going up and making the contested catch because Lathan got his hand on that one late. Nice strong hands from McMillan.
Injury for West Virginia here, and that'll stop the clock.
Well, it looked like a non-contact injury. Is that Trotter?
Looks like.
Can't see the second number on that.
McMillan up over 200 yards receiving for the 3rd time in his career. And after a 49-yard reception, Arizona all of a sudden has 1st down and goal with 5:17 to go.
Yeah, the injuries keep piling up for this West Virginia team. You hate to see that, especially with a guy like Trotter.
Coming off a game, Arizona, where they scored their fewest points of the season. Can West Virginia's defense just hold them enough here?
And McMillan lined up in the slot. Watch him try and bring him back to the left across the formation.
On 1st down, Fafita, end zone, incomplete. Montana Lamonius Craig hasn't been targeted much, if at all, tonight. 5th-year senior, former Colorado Buff.
And textbook once again from number 1 Garnett Hollis. We saw him knock the pass away from McMillan earlier in the game and does a nice job really compressing, as they say, Craig on that play. You take away his ability to use his hands when you just get nice and tight inside of there. Chest to chest is what they say, and when that ball gets up there, get your hands up through the receiver.
Fafita throws end zone, low contact. McMillan stopped his route, and it's an incomplete pass. 3rd down.
Yes, in the rub play, pick play, depending on whether you're an offensive coach or a defensive coach, got a little bit too tight on this one. Not sure what was happening there. It's like, wait a minute, he's pointing in there. you know, sometimes one guy's supposed to go over the top, the other guy's supposed to go underneath, but McMillan, you got to know better on that. You just can't stop your feet. You can't stop the route, even though it doesn't go the way you think it will. Just finish.
Arizona 6 for 12 on third down. Fifita throws back in the end zone. Incomplete. Flag on the play. McMillan nearly reeled it in.
Man, almost pulled in that one-handed circus grab, but it might be a defensive hold earlier in the route. You're going to see Hollis in coverage here. Oh, yeah.
Holding. Defense number 1.
Just, again, we're being treated to a show here by McMillan tonight.
Yeah, we certainly are. And we had seen before Hollis, when he came back to a ball against McMillan, did a nice job not interfering. We saw in that last throw to Lamonius Craig. Didn't interfere. That time, clear as day, though, man. He's like, I got to get a hold of something or he's going right by me.
Arizona with a fresh set of downs. From the 3-yard line. Handoff. McMillan. What is he going to do here? He's going to throw it back to Fifita, and he dropped it! He had daylight and would have had a wide-open score! And he can't believe it!
Oh, my goodness. Well, we saw this earlier in the game. It was more like a run-pass option, but I tell you, McMillan does a great job evading the pressure, the little jump pass, and no!
Oh, wow.
It's like he got his hands in an awkward position there. You know, the way that ball's coming in, sometimes if you're not a natural catcher of the ball, you can get a little confused, and he got a little excited. Just cup that thing, make sure that you catch it, and you walk in.
Here's Fifita with some daylight. Pumps, cuts to the goal line, got it! Touchdown, Arizona! Fifita knew the contact was coming, lowered his shoulder, and found his way to the end zone.
And he totally redeems himself. Drops the pass before, and watch him get physical, turn up inside. He just jumping all over folks. No slide on this one. You see like the fake little throw just to try and freeze the defenders very quickly. And you see Tarnu, looked like he may have been injured at the end of that one.
Yeah,
he got like he was caught in the splits.
His neck kind of got rolled there.
I think it's his leg. Like it looked like a hurdler. He was like in a hurdler stretch position, and they're grabbing the back of his hamstring. Whatever it is, though, incredible play by Noah Fifita.
Neil Brown arguing something on the West Virginia sideline.
Oh.
Yeah, Tarnu.
I hate to see that.
Can't put any weight on his left leg. Wildcats will go for one here. And the PAT, they've missed one earlier today with a bad hold. This one is clean. With 4:35 to go, the Wildcats have stormed back to make this a 5-point game.
Boy, just so exciting. And that's why we don't say as announcers that any team has a stranglehold in the third quarter. Number one, because you don't want to lose viewers.
Sure, that's the cardinal rule of television, isn't it?
And then the other part is, it's college football, man. Anything can happen. It's just so great to see. And, what both of these teams have been through, coming off a couple losses in a row, both teams, just knowing what locker rooms are like. And when you go through stretches like this and everybody starts talking about, man, do you remember what we went through in training camp? I mean, literal blood, sweat, and tears together. Let's go out and play for each other. Let's go out and play hard. And I just love to see teams, no matter what the circumstances, from week to week, but in the course of a game, when they go down and then they fight back like this and put themselves in a position to come all the way back and potentially win it. I just love to see it. And look, love what West Virginia's done all day long, going on the road. And now you got your opportunity. You go down and score right now, game over, right? You score 6, pretty much. You can grind some clock here.
245 yards last week. Arizona now outgaining West Virginia, 386 to 382. And as much as we talked about West Virginia's defense needing to do something, well, here's the moment, right? We've seen West Virginia's offense respond to a big moment earlier in the game. This is where they have to put the pedal to the metal and close this one out with 4:35 to go.
And they were able to run the ball so well against a Kansas State team that really had been good against the run all year.
I mean, they're averaging 6 yards per carry tonight.
Now, some of that is distorted by the long jet sweeps.
Still.
But to your point, yeah, you want to try and grind some clock. High percentage throws.
Markhill steps up in the pocket, and that is a high percentage throw, hitting the tight end Cole Taylor, who's tackled across the 33-yard line. Gain of 7, 2nd down and 3.
Yeah, and that's just a great start right there. And I'm sure Chad Scott, the offensive coordinator, has gotten with Nico, said, look, man, it's been one heck of a night. We've done a lot of great things. We can't control what the defense does, and they've given up too many points. But this is your opportunity. Be smart with the ball.
On 2nd down, handoff, and they will come up short of the 1st down, a gain of 1. 3rd down. Again, we've talked about West Virginia. They have been able to run the ball. They've been able to do it all season.
Look at
One
the
of the better running teams in the Big 12. Dwayne Aquino on the Arizona sideline. Can they come up with a stop?
Oh, I just love seeing it, man. He's shouting in the call. And if you're West Virginia here, use the legs of Nico Markhill. I think you go zone read here. They were able to convert earlier.
Third down, handoff, and they'll get it. That's a big heart and throat moment for West Virginia fans. Jaheim White able to push it across the line to make with the second effort.
Genesis Smith is going to come in and try and make the tackle, but I want you to watch just this little spin move. Jaheim White, this little spin right here is what gets that 1st down. You have to be so careful when you go in those spin moves and make sure you secure the ball, but that little spin on contact, we do that a lot as a drill for running backs, and that's exactly why you do it, to get that extra yard or 2 at the end of a run.
1st down for the Mountaineers, approaching a 2-minute timeout. Arizona with only 2 timeouts, keep in mind, as that clock moves. On the ground, gain of 2 for White.
You take that timeout before the 2-minute timeout.
Second charge timeout. Arizona. 30 seconds timeout.
Mountaineers led this game 31-13. Trying to get back on track after back-to-back home losses. Unable to break 20 points in either game. This year they have faced 4 teams currently ranked in the top 20. Gone 0-4 against them. And granted, those 4 teams have had good seasons. But the opportunities have been there for West Virginia. And now, in a game where you cannot drop, if you're trying to look ahead and think about clinching postseason, getting back to a bowl game once again, already a game under 500, looking for a way to shut the door here in their first ever game at the University of Arizona in the regular season.
Doesn't get any better than this, partner. So much on the line, and you know what? It's football. No ties anymore. Somebody's got to lose. But it's the great part. It's what we love about the game. You go out and fight for at least 60. Don't worry about the results. Just do your job.
2nd down. Option play here. The handoff for Gallagher, trying to spin away, and he's swarmed. And Arizona will call their final timeout with 2:06 to go, preserving even more time with a 2-minute timeout to come and a third down upcoming for West Virginia.
A big third down, and this is the game, really, because Arizona doesn't have any more timeouts. They get a first down here, it's pretty much game over. So Arizona gambling here. This is just so great. I love moments like this. Just so exciting, because you know West Virginia, game's on the line. You haven't necessarily lost it if you have to punt it away, but you have an opportunity here as an offense to end the game. But you know, with the quarterback Nico Marchiol getting his first start of the season, got to be smart too. You don't throw anything into traffic. Make sure you don't throw anything that goes to the other team.
Added 3 seconds. Third down and 7. Keep in mind, West Virginia, you can throw the ball because you've got the stoppage here, the 2-minute timeout to come. If you want to try and put this game to bed now.
Well, you got to throw here. You want to get the first down. End it.
Marchiol will try to do just that. Swings it to the outside. It's caught. It's a first down. Jalen Anderson's first touch of the game moves the sticks. He's out of bounds just ahead of the 2-minute timeout.
Yeah, but that thing's going to run down in 2 minutes with the clock running. It's a great throw right here. Great decision not to get too aggressive. You said don't do anything that's going to make that ball go the other direction. You had the opportunity, and you convert. West Virginia coming on the road. Arizona out of timeouts. Under 2 minutes when we get back.
Well, Brent Brennan's team on the verge of their 4th straight loss. Valiant comeback effort, but West Virginia, got to give them credit too. Under pressure, Nico Marchiol stepping in. He's been their backup all season. Played the second half last week. Delivers a big first down conversion. And the Mountaineers will kneel this one down.
And that'll do it. And, you know, well, that won't do it. A couple more snaps will do it. But, you know, you could just tell with Neil Brown, just kind of the way that he was answering questions this week, you know, watching some of the press conferences, and you could just tell he was really anxious, right? He could not wait to get to that next game. He knows that they're a better team than their record. And I know, hey, you are what you say your record is. They certainly have had some opportunities that they haven't converted on, made too many mistakes. I know all of that. But they are better than what their record would indicate to me. And to see them come on the road, play the way that they did today, congratulations to them. And on the other side, Arizona, I mean, you fought your way back. Both teams have had to deal with the injuries. And again, fans don't care. Fans, short for fanatic. There's Marchiol's father enjoying the finish of this one. Fan is short for fanatic. You know, they're not known for their patience or being rational. They want to win, and they want to win now, always. They don't care how many teams have lost. You know, it's like the Goodfellas thing. Forget you, pay me, right? Like, that's all it is to fans.
One more kneel down. And West Virginia will get back to 500. We'll call final timeout here first. So West Virginia, we talked about how tough their schedule was to begin the season, but look at how they'll finish. 3 of their final 5 are currently at or below 500. So you know,
it's tough to win every game, man.
The thing is, for West Virginia, I think the frustration is they are, in all likelihood, out of the running for the Big 12 title, right?
Yeah.
And that's where the opportunity came about the last 2 weeks. But, you know, much like they did last year, I think last year, let's not forget, this team was kind of teetering a little bit and finished really strong. Won 5 out of their final 6 games, including a victory over UNC in their bowl game. There's still a lot left to play for West Virginia as they try to get back to the postseason under Neil Brown. heart and throat kind of game if you're a Mountaineer fan, but they eke it out. 31-26 the final over Arizona here as West Virginia makes the cross-country trek. Their first regular season game this far west since 2008. Noah Fifita and this Arizona team, banged up as they are, will have to figure it out going forward.
Yeah, they figure it out in Orlando, Florida against UCF next week. My partner won't be there, but I will.
Okay, you carry the torch for me, all right?
I will, man.
For our producer, Brad Weimer, director Brian Biederman, and my partner, at least for this week,
Yeah,
Robert Smith.
you say that. We're going to be next week.
Madison Square Garden, I think.
Okay.
Well, we thank you for watching Big 12 football here on FS1. For our entire Fox Sports crew, this is Alex Faust bidding you a good night from Tucson, Arizona, as West Virginia beats Arizona 31-26 the final.